Yo. We are back again. This is an episode of a show we're going to call Agree to Disagree. This is according to hip hop. This is your boy Ron. We got Cervon. We got Leroy Green in the building. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Oh man, it's been a fun week. Monday show was jam packed. Cervon was feeling under the weather. How you feeling, bro?
Man, I look how I feel right now, man. I still kind of like.
Hey, black don't crack, baby. I couldn't tell you was sick, man. You still looking strong, like you ready to do it. You know what I mean?
thought I was, man. I thought Monday was gonna be my flu game performance, man. And my body said, "Hell no."
Right.
No doubt.
I know people want to be outside, but this new flu is different, bro.
No doubt. Well, we got a jam-packed show today. What we're gonna do is we're gonna talk more about the Snoop Dogg album, Missionary. There was a heated discussion in the comment section from Monday's show. I want to give my opinion of the album since I was so rudely interrupted on Monday by Mike and Leroy. So I want to actually speak and give my opinion. And then Cervon will give his. Then we'll get into the top 10 albums of 2024 by Cervon. He compiled a great list. We'll also do the top 10 songs from Leroy, Super Duper, and myself. We'll talk about J.Cole at Madison Square Garden. And we'll talk about Fat Joe. People ain't been talking about Fat Joe. Fat Joe dropped an album. Rock Marciano dropped an album. We're going to talk about those. But before we get into that, hit like and subscribe. Thank you for checking in with us. Let's start with the Snoop Dogg album. There was lots of reactions to it. The comments were on fire. So before I give my opinion, Cervon, what say you, sir? What did you feel about the album?
I actually like the project. I think the mission for them is quite clear what they were set out to do, and that's just creating a grand stage of music. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like you can't place them in that box expecting to hear what you did in 93 or even 2001. I feel like now they're making music for the masses, and it sounds like it when you have records with Jelly Roll and records with Sting or whatever. They're just had the stage or this point in the career where they just want to just make good music and keep on pushing the envelope or whatever it's going to be. Some people say, oh, it sounds too commercial, or some people will say it sounds like it's overproduced. I think it was produced very well. I think the sound sonically, it's a great album as far as the sonics. The production, the engineering on it is amazing. But I could see how some people may feel some type of way about it, but trash is like a little bit of a reach because the album's not trash. You can't listen.
That's what they said it's trash. So
yeah, I don't.
Why.
Yeah, I don't think it's trash, and we can't say that it's all just made for mainstream because when I'm looking in some of the track lists, there's a lot of songs that I'm already replaying. That's not just your mainstream stuff, like the Hard Knocks record is one of my favorite records on that project. Out of the Blue is dope to me. I still listen to that, even though that was one they threw out there. But I just don't know what people are expecting now. I mean, are you expecting them to still be making music like Gin and Juice or still DRE or, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if you're making music and it's going to sound like your last project, what's the point of it being new music? You want to hear old Snoop and Dre, go listen to old Snoop and Dre albums. This is newer Snoop and Dre projects. And I just feel like it was a better effort in making sure that it appeals and pleases everybody on the album. I mean, there's a song for just about anybody on that album, in my opinion. I don't have problems with it at all. I don't know what people expect and how they're picking apart the album, man. I really think it was a good effort.
I don't think people are fans of Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre because I think people know the names Snoop and Dre. So in their head they think they're a fan. You're not a fan of Snoop and Dre. Like most of y'all that heard the album are not fans of Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre. You think you are, but you're not because I'm just posing the question. Fan means that you buy their albums and enjoy it. Am I tripping? So in the last 20 years, what albums did y'all enjoy from Snoop and Dre? What albums did you support? Now me, whenever Snoop pops up, I'm copping. Cause I look at Snoop as in fun. I associate Snoop with fun. So what I mean is, because people think I'm biased, I just like everything from Snoop. No, but if I listen to a Redman, I associate having fun with Redman. Does that make sense? I associate having fun with Ludacris. So when Snoop pops up, I cop those albums automatically because I'm associating his sound with having a good time. So when I heard the album, my checkpoint is: does this album make me have a good time or not?
I
I had a
mean,
good time.
Let
one of
me let
my
me let me chime in real quick, because
yeah, right.
I'm gonna circle back to you, Cervon, in a second. So before I was so rudely interrupted on Monday's show by Mike and Leroy, what I wanted to say was I think the album is a very solid album, right? It's a good album. But I
Right.
also think that it is, to some people's points in the comments, is slightly, overproduced. And I disagree with you, Leroy. I think you can be a fan of somebody individually as an artist and still be critical of the album. I mean, it may not appeal to you sonically or even emotionally or spiritually. Because I think a lot of the songs sounded big. They were big, grand, really well engineered songs, but I think to me, they lacked depth, they lacked soul, and I just wasn't feeling them. It just didn't touch my spirit. Because you can be
They lack soul.
some
Okay.
songs, right? This is my opinion. This is my opinion, right? Sometimes you can hear something like it's really sparse, like a drum or a drum loop or a piano loop that can touch you in a different way than something that was masterfully engineered or mixed down or whatever. It's just it's a different type of feel. I didn't get that feel on some of the records I did, like even the song Hard Knocks. The Hard Knocks song is dope with the beat switch and transition, but I wasn't a really big fan of the hook. Like a lot of the hooks I felt were kind of hollow, right? So I wasn't expecting 93 Stoop and Dre. But I think this is a continuation of what I call adult contemporary hip hop. We saw it with LL and Q-Tip. We saw it with Common and Pete Rock. But unlike Common and Pete Rock, I did hear, the loops that Pete chopped up and sampled. Those were soulful loops, and I kind of felt things. Even the song they threw away, and we're gonna talk about the top songs of the year. Trying, I felt it. You know what I'm saying? You felt
But
something from it.
yeah,
So to me,
Snoop is sampling funk. Snoop is sampling funk.
I understand that. So I've revisited the album like 3 or 4 times, and each
Right.
time I listen to it, I like it a little bit less, but it's still a dope project. I don't think it's album of the year. I think that's a stretch. I think, Cervon, you're going to give your list of album of the year a little bit later. I think, Leroy, you have some that you're going to reveal as well. I just don't think that it hit the mark. And I compare this album to the movie Gladiator, right? Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2 was a dope film, but it wasn't the original, and it's okay. It's like Kingdom Come with Jay-Z. I'm a big Jay-Z fan, but when Kingdom Come came out, it was cool. And I'm not going to sit here just because our legends made an album and just say it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. They did a great job executing it. They accomplished their point. It's a fun album. It's grown folk music. It's a nod to
What's
the
the
West
last
Coast.
Snoop album you bought?
The last Snoop album I bought was Rhythmic, the Blue Carpet Treatment.
So this album's not for you, bro.
But
Like, I understand what you're saying, but you haven't listened to a Snoop album in almost 20 years. So this guy is a stranger to you. Like, Snoop Dogg is a stranger. You don't know Snoop Dogg's sound or his music or his style. Not no more. That's what I'm saying. Like, and now granted, I'm using you because you're here talking as like a model for a lot of fans. So don't take it as not a personal shot. What I'm saying is I don't think a lot of fans are actually fans of Snoop Dogg, because in my mind fan means I support your albums. Now, even if I don't buy it, I listen to your albums. People haven't listened to Snoop Dogg in 20 years, then they expect to like a Snoop Dogg album. Do you follow me? I don't know how you like someone you haven't listened to for 20 years. That's a totally different human being. Like, Snoop
So
is it's a stranger now to you. Like, you know what I mean?
no, I actually kind of get what Ron is saying though, because some of those points is some of the things about this album that I criticize as well. Is sometimes some of those hooks aren't strong enough. Like for example, I really didn't like the Out of the Blue sample at first. I mean, not the sample, but the hook at first. I feel like them going back and forth. That hook is like I don't know. I think it could have been stronger. The MIA thing, I think that's dope. And when you listen to the song more, you start to like it more. But like, I feel like some of the hooks on the album wasn't that strong. And then number two, one of the things about the production with him doing this album with Snoop is like, I understood he took the passenger seat and let Dre produce him. And you can see it because the way he laid his vocals, the way he's spitting at a good level. He's spitting at a high level. But as far as it sounding like it's meshing over some of those beats on some of the tracks on the album, I can see how what people are talking about, what Ron's talking about. I mean, there's some couple of them joints on there that I'm not like biggest fan of. Like, I don't really like the record with 50 and M. That's I just don't. I was excited
I'm saying
the album was gonna be on the same track, but it just
I've heard the hooks this year.
What you say?
I've heard a lot of the hooks this year. Are y'all telling me that rappers are having strong hooks in 2024? Because
I think that's hip hop period.
But see, Leroy, we're not talking about. We're just focusing on it. We're not talking about anybody else. We're just talking about when we hear this album, right? We put it on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music.
But who is killing Dr. Dre and Snoop?
But that's not the argument. The argument is when you listen to an album. Say you gave me an album, right? I can't compare it to nothing else. I'm just comparing to Leroy what you gave me, and I'm taking.
That'd be my argument.
I'm taking it in as I'm listening to it, right? It could be an album from Beethoven, Mozart, James Brown, Michael Jackson. It's kind of like Invincible with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's super dope, biggest artist of all time, the biggest pop star of king of pop of all time. But was Invincible Thriller? Was Invincible Off the Wall? Was Invincible Dangerous? I liked Invincible, but I can't get on TV and say, or can't get on YouTube and say that the Invincible was dope because Michael Jackson.
People that I respect. It's people's musical opinion I respect. It's people that are telling me the album is trash.
Yeah, I want
to know. You have Shangri-La. I'm skipping records here, but you have Shangri-La, Hard Knocks, Thank You, Pressure. That's 4. Skyscrapers, Fire, Gunsmoke, Strictly Sticky Situations, Now or Never, Gangsta Pose, and Negotiator. That's like 12 bangers in a row. Who is walking around with that y'all know?
There's the thing about this album though, because like I said, I think the production is great. I think Snoop is spitting at a high level, but the album, it seems like it started off strong, and then when you get deeper into the album, it's kind of like where some of the stuff that I'm critiquing comes into play. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a solid effort from both of them. I don't think it's a trash album at all. It's good. But I'm not gonna say it's great, but the production is phenomenal. To hear Snoop spitting the way that he's spitting on this record, I
guess it's me, man. I guess it's me because
great album. I think it's a good album. I think people who critique it, you have to look at it and be like, man, these guys are really doing better music than the younger rappers out here right now. For them to be at in their age, this is great quality music. But I just don't think that it's great. I think it's good. I think it's something that I'm actually happy that they dropped. I don't have no problems with it as far as the album, but there are some critiques on there that
somebody gotta be great. If this is not great, then somebody out there has to be your standard of greatness that I can look to. Now, I guess if we're not going to do the comparison, because normally I got a problem with that, I'll park that. But what I'm saying is, if this is not a strong album, like, is it my favorite album?
Effort, but I don't think it's great.
But I mean, I hear a lot of people talking about sound too. Like, they care about production.
Yeah, songs are amazing.
Every other day you care about production, but now people are like, nah, the production's not good. I'm like, Dr. Dre?
Production is amazing.
I'm confused because every other day people care about production until right now. Now it's overproduced. I'm sorry, but I don't hear the extra sounds that don't make sense on the record. Every sound I heard sounded like it makes sense where it's at. Again, I'm just asking the question because Is this gonna be like my favorite album this year? No. Am I calling this a classic? No. Am I calling this album of the year? No. Am I call so? But it's like people are doing the critiques, but how many things did Snoop do right? How many times was he actually in pocket perfect? How many times was the transition to the hooks perfect? How many times was the beat slapping perfect? So it's like, how many things did he do right? It's a long list, like
Well,
very long.
this is the thing when we start talking about like reviewing or critiquing music. The average fan is gonna just listen to the music. A fan of hip hop, which I'm saying, not just Dre and Snoop, but a fan of hip hop. When they listen to it, they're gonna have two thoughts: either they're gonna like it because it sounds good, or they're not gonna like it. And
Yeah, like Wiz Khalifa. I listen to
yeah,
Snoop like Wiz
so
Khalifa.
you'll know by something by probably one of listen project, know.
Yeah.
You'll
I
know by
listen to Snoop like
one or
I'm
two.
listening to Wiz Khalifa. It's just about, am I having fun? I do not put on my Nas ears when I listen to Snoop and Dre. Now, I thought Snoop was spitting, but maybe I'm tripping.
Let
No,
me
I
But,
agree. Snoop
you
is
know,
spinning, and I think the production is dope. I don't like the overproduced comments because I think people have been away from listening to great produced music for so long that they don't even know what it sounds like to them no more. And so
bro,
that was the thing I was mostly excited about is the sonics, how it was engineered, the beats. I feel like Dre did his thing on the sonics of it. And I feel like to hear Snoop spit at this level, spitting like this, is dope because Snoop was coming hard on the back on Death Row album, like that last album he did. He did the music videos, had Nate Dogg's son in it or whatever. He was spitting at a high level on there. So to see that he's continuing it on this album is good. Like I have nothing.
right,
Snoop did nothing wrong, right?
right.
Like I said, I think some hooks could be stronger. And I also believe that it's a long album, which is not bad if it's banging. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like some of the hooks could have been stronger. And I mean, I'm not looking for the feature game to be too tough.
But what's
When
not banging? What's the songs that don't
it's just
bang?
good. It's good at best, Leroy. Like it's
Yeah,
not a great
let me
album.
get to the super chat real quick, and I think Super Duper's jumped on as well. I want to get his thoughts as well. Matt Max with the super chat says the problem is the album is not a hip hop album. LOL. It's rock music, pop music. That's what I got. And Leroy right, and not a Dre fan. Snoop. I rock with it,
Snoop is
but
not 19
but
anymore.
that
He's
don't excuse the fact that I have no real hip hop songs. So Matt Max felt
y'all
that
wanted y'all
it's
wanted y'all wanted hip hop from Snoop Dogg. Like
yes.
help me understand. Y'all don't know that Snoop has been pop since the 90s? We'll take out the 90s. This is the same guy that made Drop It Like It's Hot and Beautiful. And y'all want like, do y'all want like what do y'all want Ka from Snoop Dogg?
No,
No,
I think
what
they want I think they want songs that sound like beautiful and drop her like it's hot from Snoop Dogg
Yeah,
and hooks,
gorgeous.
and they want hooks.
Gorgeous.
They want hooks that sound like that from Snoop Dogg. I think that's what they want, and I think what they're saying is that the
The
records
hooks
on this
y'all must
album.
listen to are amazing.
I mean, what I think the people are saying is that these songs on this record, although they're good, they're solid, they're cool, they don't
Yeah.
resonate like "Drop It Like It's Hot" does. It doesn't resonate like "Beautiful" does. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't resonate like "Sexual Seduction" or "Vato" or records like that. It just doesn't resonate. It doesn't linger with
It
you.
just came out like a few days
But
ago.
nah, when I
well,
first heard "Drop It Like It's Hot," I was like, "Well, damn, let me run that back." You know what I'm saying? It
The
lingered
first
with me.
day it came out, it
Yeah,
resonated with
it lingered with me. You know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
don't
first.
give me
Okay, all right. Well, this just came out, y'all. I don't know how much it could resonate. It just got here. It's like a newborn baby.
Yeah, but let's put it this way. I don't like the opinions of people saying it's trash. It's not a trash album. I don't feel it's overproduced, but I just feel like to some people's point, there is a part of some of these other records in this album where I kind of want to hear it more so cater to kind of Snoop style.
Yo,
Um,
yo, yo.
what's up? What's good?
What
I
up?
want to cater more to Snoop style a little bit, like previous projects, and I feel like he gave Snoop those bigger records, which is cool because to me, both of them are bigger than hip hop at this point, and that's why I said this album kind of checked the mark for like if you want your records to be placed on stuff, commercials, and the bigger stages, football games, basketball games, like
Yes.
the
Yes.
records are just big, and that's fine. There's nothing
Yes.
wrong with that. But when you have an album like that, there's gonna be people that kind of feel like it doesn't go back to the roots
Okay.
for
Yeah,
for
it's not
since 10
you
years.
need small too. Not you
Yeah,
need small. And
I think
I hear that I
yeah,
can understand that argument, right? I can understand that argument because now that can make sense, but I mean, it is Snoop Dogg. So, but I mean, as far as I'm gonna let you cook, Super. But Skyscrapers is a hip hop record. Fire is a hip hop record. Guns and Smoke, Sticky Situation, Now or Never, Gangsta Pose, The Negotiator, Thank You, Out of the Blue, Shangri La. These are hip hop records. So I don't
Hey, hey,
know, but okay.
y'all
Super.
can get it.
hey, I'm gonna say this, y'all. What's good, fellas? What's happening? What's
Good,
happening?
man.
Sir, yes,
Hey,
sir.
it's my birthday today, so I'm a little turned
Happy
up, man.
birthday, G.
I've
Oh
been
man,
sipping a
happy
little
birthday,
bit, you
brother.
know what I'm
Turn up.
saying? So
Turn up.
thank you, fellas, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But hey, let me say this. Um, I enjoyed the Snoop album. You know, I gotta eat my
Right.
words. Last podcast I was on, I said it was gonna be trash, and I actually like the album. I
I
mean,
do too. Yeah.
I appreciate the chances that Snoop and Dre took to be different, to sound different, you know what I mean? And like to take that next step into like the saga of what Snoop do. If you really think about Snoop, right? Snoop is an artist that he's done a Jamaican album. And
Mhm.
so I understand some of the songs and like the angle of like why Snoop is doing some of the things that he's doing. But at
Yeah.
the same time, like I said, I gotta play devil's
Right.
advocate. And I understand why people say it's whack too. Because it don't have none of that Snoop and Dre edge to it that you used to. Most of the beats are kind of popish. Um,
Gotcha.
they kind of and I mean I'll keep it real. If you're not just in it for the Snoop factor, because Snoop rapping his ass off on the album, you can't hate on
Yeah.
Snoop.
He's spitting
You
out
can
hot.
definitely doubt Dr. Dre and the production. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to, if you really want to be critiqued, if you want to have the criticism, the production failed Snoop on the album because of the sound. Ain't nothing really super gangster on there that you used to from hearing from Snoop and Dre. So when you think of them, you want to hear at least some beats that sound a little funky and that sound like Snoop and Dre, one way or another.
Yeah.
Whether Snoop
Getting
is
back to the
spitting
roots.
gangster lyrics or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
It
feel you.
just lacks edge. I text Ron and I said, to me, what the album lacks is edge. Now you got your songs here and there. You got your Negotiator. You got your Hard Knocks, but the Hard Knock beat ain't like it ain't got no edge. You know what I'm saying? But the
Okay.
album itself is still nice. You know what I mean? Like you can't. I think people just being too critical on the Snoop and Dre album, man. Like it's not as
Yeah.
bad as people want to say that it is, but it's not what you expected at all.
I agree
I can say the
too.
same thing for what I thought about the Kendrick album. You know, like on my initial listen to the Kendrick album, I was disappointed. Like I didn't think that it lived up to the hype of what I was expecting to get from a Kendrick album at the time. But as I got over that factor of it, and I sat back and I listened to the actual album and was like, all right, it's not what I thought it would be, but let me just listen to it for what it is. It's not as bad as I thought it was. You know what I'm saying? And I think people got to just relax a little bit, go back and give it another spin for real, and really listen to Snoop and get over the fact
Yeah.
that, yeah, you
You
go
I
have
into
can
to.
the album and know that ain't no nothing but a G thing beat on there. Ain't nothing gangster really like that for you to like get into
You know
that
what?
Snoop and Dre mode, but just listen to the album for what it is.
Cervon.
You made a good point because you brought up like how you felt about G and X and what you expected on there. I feel like the Snoop and Drake album is the opposite of what we got from Kendrick on G and X. Kendrick on G and X took it back to the roots and the sound of what it
Yeah,
sounds,
I
what that
agree.
phonics of what that sound like here. And I feel like Dre and Snoop were going into another pocket where this is global.
Mm-hmm.
This is bigger than just like the roots of that. And
right.
there's nothing wrong with that because they're global icons at this point. So to me, Dre and Snoop can't do no wrong as far as them working together again. It's their first project in 30 years. But with this being said, being their first project in 30 years, I also expected some things to kind of take it back to the roots a little bit. Like I said, Snoop did nothing
Yeah,
wrong with the album. He's spitting high level on this album. I really like that he's spitting. But
Right.
like I said, for one of the biggest things for me, and which has been a strong suit for a lot of older Snoop projects, is they had great hooks, man. Like when you even think about Doggy Style or you think about The Chronic, the major singles from those were just great, like soundtracks. And I feel like I didn't get that on this album as far as like
I mean,
that's what is your standout single from this thing that kind of like is strong? Like they released 3 singles, right? 3
I
singles.
think
I think they definitely they did a bad job of releasing the singles.
Yeah.
I think like especially for guys that look into the Snoop thing, like to keep it real, probably Hard Knocks, Negotiator, and the one with Dre. I can't remember. Out of the Blue, or is that what
Out of
it's
the
called?
Blue
Out of the
State.
Blue. Maybe
Yeah.
those 3 should have been the singles instead of the ones that they actually released. Because let's keep it real. Me listening to the album and saying that I thought that the album was good. Am I messing up in the picture,
You're
or am I
you're
good?
like
It look like I'm freezing
you
a little
sound
bit.
you sound good.
You sound good.
You're
Yeah.
freezing a little bit.
Okay.
Super. While you adjust that, let me get to the super chat real quick. Mad Max in the super chat says, "How can you be bigger than hip hop? Than want hip hop to respect you all the time? We know them for hip hop. Like we want some edge, some swing. And
But that's why I said
Happy
like
G Day Super Duper, born the same
if
day
you
as
were
DMX.
if you were an actual fan of Snoop Dogg, you would have already had the records that you're asking for last year. Because he been gave y'all that. But since you didn't listen to Snoop Dogg last year, you don't understand what he's doing right now. But I agree with what Cervon said and with what Super Duper said, because that I can agree with what makes sense if you're making sense. I
Well,
can
damn.
agree
No,
they
Leroy. I
already
said the same thing. No, wait a minute. Now
but
you
y'all
can't.
didn't.
You ain't gonna
Hold
diss
on.
me like that, bro.
No, 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 no.
I said the same thing Cervon and Super Duper said. How you gonna say
Okay.
what I said don't make sense? I said the exact
Nah,
same thing.
I wasn't saying that. I wasn't even saying that.
You
But
trying to subliminal? You trying to sub diss me? I got you. Go ahead.
No.
Nah,
What
nah, but
thing?
what I'm saying is like there is a certain like and like old school, I guess. Like you not old school, but like you want Snoop to have his roots also in the music. Well, if you bought his albums the last couple years, you would have had that. So when now that he's going in the stadium direction, it's like where's the roots at? But y'all didn't listen to them albums he just dropped. Like,
No,
you know what I
see,
mean?
I disagree
Yeah.
with you, Leroy. See, that's where the gassing come in at. Like, I think that
Maybe y'all listen.
you and Mike, man, you and Mike was y'all gassing the wrong songs, man. The songs that y'all like, Thank You is whack. You know what I'm saying? Gorgeous is whack. Like we can say it was whack. Like there's a
Thank
couple
you
whack
is
songs on here. Yeah, Thank You is whack. The one with Jelly Roll is whack. Like we ain't gotta gas them songs and act like that. Them songs are
Thank you is a
special or
monster.
them
Thank
songs
you.
But
is whack, fam. They
so
whack, man. They
I
whack.
mean,
Like,
but I
they
hear you
corny.
because hip hop heads
They kind of
they
corny is
want
what I'm
hip
saying.
hop
I won't even say that they
music.
whack. They just kind of corny for what you expecting from a Snoop Dogg, like the sound, the beat,
I'm not
it's kind
mad.
of corny
But
for what you expect.
to speak to Mad Max's point though, how could you be bigger than hip hop? Well, I mean I hate to do it, but if you're a legend for 30 years in a field, at some point people start to look at you a little bit beyond the field. I'm sorry, that's just what happens. You know what I mean? Like Snoop is a larger than life figure. So now he's making music for people in the suburbs to dance to, not just the hood. So that's like weird to us. But in his
Listen,
reality, in his reality, he's his range is wide, you know?
I mean, yeah, to
I
me,
respect Snoop Dogg. Let me say this. I
go
just
ahead,
real
get on.
quick. I respect Snoop for like as an artist of his caliber making a song like Thank You. You know what I mean? Like I understand and I
Yeah.
get it, but it's still whack, man. Like you know what I mean? Like it's whack, man. We ain't got a front on it.
Cervon, what you say?
Well, the thing about the album is like, I guess why, I always hate when people say, oh, it don't sound like so and so, whatever. I mean, yeah, you have to push the envelope. But I think why it's different for this is because Dre and Snoop hasn't had a produced record, like this with them working with each other in 30 years. So out of 30 years of us not hearing a Dre produced album from Snoop, we kind of want to get just a couple tracks that's like kind of take it back to the roots. You didn't have to do a whole album of it. Just give me a couple of those joints that make me feel like, they
Yeah,
back Dre and Snoop.
yeah. That's all I'm saying. All right.
It's not bad because they expanded and it's like this is global music or mainstream or whatever. I just felt like if you would have gave us a little, a few of those records that's like make us know, hey,
Oh, like that's the second half of the album. That's
Yo,
the second half is. I mean, and he still got the funk samples. Like that is Snoop. But I mean,
I
I
mean,
hear you. I'm not acting like I don't hear you.
Like,
I hear what you're saying.
it
I
has.
understand. I agree. I
I think it
agree.
is just a little bit of those roots because when I've listened to the Dog Pound album, it had them going back to the roots on there. When I'm listening to, when I'm listening to all the
East
West
Side
Coast
album.
Eastside.
like when I'm listening to a lot of stuff out of the West Coast this year, there are a lot of those elements in a lot of those albums that was released.
Right.
Like I said, it's nothing wrong that this is just overall music. Just take it for what it is. But I think people have a right to say, well, damn, we didn't get a little bit of that edge
Right.
from a produced record. But it's not a bad album. It's not trash. I don't think it's overproduced. I just think that there's some records that could have been a little bit more for catering towards
The core.
style more so than him, hopping on these beats. And like I said, he's spitting at a high level, but it's like, I just kind of want to get a couple of those.
You want more pressure and less out of the blue. You know what I mean?
Out of the Blue is actually dope. I like them going back and forth, but like I'm saying, at Hard Knocks, Snoop is spitting. I like when Snoop is spitting at that level. But I just feel like, damn, could we have got a couple of those cultural records on there that was like,
something that's really more Snoop and Dre.
with some soul, with some heart and soul.
It's nothing on this album that's Snoop and Dre like. But that's kind of why you gotta kind of like give him that credit, man. I mean, like as Snoop as an artist, I think but come on, man, let's just not play no games. Snoop is corporate. Snoop got endorsement deals all over the place, right? Snoop know what the hell he's doing, man. He made that album on purpose. And I said from the beginning, I felt like Snoop was making a corporate album. Like Snoop wasn't like the album's not too controversial. It's not too.
But did you peep the movie, Super Duper? Did you peep the short film? Did you peep the movie, the short film?
I seen the little short film. But that's
they was dropping some shots in it though.
Snoop is down to earth, man. Snoop is still down to earth though.
But what I'm saying is that they wasn't selling that though.
I just had with one of Snoop's people yesterday, but Snoop is still very down to earth. Like, will you know what I mean? Like, but I mean,
no, I'm not even really saying that. I'm just saying that I don't think that Snoop I think he was playing it safe, just period. I mean, the music, the beat sounds safe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that he was trying to like promote too much Crip activity. You know what I mean? Or he wasn't trying to have you Crip walking and like really relate you to that type of Snoop. But like I said, man, it's 2024, then they're 25, man. We got to give them credit for being sonically different than you ever heard Snoop and Dre ever be. Yeah, that's fine too, though. You know what I mean? It's just something to get used to. And I like I said, it's your initial disappointment is. I understand everybody feeling that the album is whack, but when you really go back and listen to it, man, for me, like I said personally, I like 9 out of the 16 tracks. I don't think that's that bad. I can't call an album whack if I like 9 tracks out of 16.
No, but y'all made sense though. I get what you're saying. You just want something more closer to the classical Snoop Dogg, closer to the roots of what and kind of more like
be the content. It's just the sound that I'm speaking of, because I don't expect 50-something-year-old Snoop to still be talking about the things he was talking about on Doggy Style. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool with them growing up with content of the music. It's more so the sound that I'm speaking of. And I didn't need a whole album of it. Just give me like 2 or 3 of those joints, and I feel like, all right, this is a solid effort all across the board. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with how Snoop was spitting on his album. The sonics was great. The production it's just big. Like I'm saying, like I think people has gotten so used to poorly produced music, because that's why I feel like what's going on for a lot of this music now is there's no producers no more. There's beat makers. And I was looking at the Complex thing that they had for Dre and Snoop when they're showing them working on a project, and Snoop was spitting and then Dre's stopping him. Hey, nah, you said it like this, blah. We need to get back to that. Hip hop has lacked because there's no more producing. And to know that this was a produced album in that manner, I can't go against that. You know what I'm saying? I can never say that's trash. This is what happens when you have a great artist linked with a great producer. But it's just a couple of those cultural records that's not there sound wise. But like I said, I can never say this shit is trash. It's not trash to me at all. I just feel like some people listen to just hate. some people listen to just say something wrong about it, and I can't stand those type of people.
And we're gonna get into that. Let me get to the super chat because Cervon, you made a good point. I'm gonna read some of these. Not hateful. I would say I won't even call them hate because I think sometimes we get into a thing when people criticize something. The first thing we do is say they hating. Some of these people aren't hating. They just objectively listen to the album.
Y'all have fun anymore? What happened to fun?
They didn't like it. So Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, "I love reacting to hip hop music. Also hate listening to an album just to react to it." Hey, that's the times we living in. Another super chat from Lord Vachai says, people can't recognize great music anymore. Okay. So let me get to what I wanted to talk about because Monday's show was very heated. We had like over 300 comments, I think. And a lot of people would, agree with what Mike and Leroy were saying. A lot of people disagreed. Normally we poll everything and Mike shares the results of the poll. Mike put up a poll, but he didn't share the results. But I want to share the results. He asked, was it album of the year? And I think it was 90% that people said no. But Mike didn't share that on that show. So I just want to let you know. I want to give the results to the people, let you know 90% of the people said it wasn't album of the year. So 10%.
Sonically, is it album of the year?
Well,
no.
They didn't.
No.
If y'all heard a better,
hey, Ron, not to cut you off, man. Because we know the results of that poll. But listen, man, I think, like I said, I think a lot of gassing was going on too. Like, it's not album of the year. It's not like that. Like y'all overreacting by saying that. And like I said, the songs that y'all was talking about,
whoever's cooking Dr. Dre
songs, man, like people had the right to feel like that song with Jelly Roll is whack and Thank You is whack.
They have that right.
And you know what I mean? Like, them songs for me, they not.
I want to know
what producer. They just wasn't.
What producer is out here cooking Dr. Dre? That's all I want to know.
And I disagree with the stadium beat. Talk too. Like this ain't like the production ain't big. It's not big like that. It's nothing that you're not gonna hear none of these songs playing at a football game, or you're not gonna hear none of these songs like getting used in the commercial. You're not. There's nothing like that on there.
I don't think Snoop Dogg not being played at a football game is insanity to me. But I hear you, but
if this album is what I'm saying.
Production wise, if this ain't it production wise, sonically, then whoever y'all think is beating this must be incredible. And I wish I could hear their music.
Me personally, I believe that this was the year of the underground versus the industry. I mean, I think that the underground outdid the industry this year. A lot of the albums that's album of the year contention. And the way that we thinking about it, like the industry really failed. I mean, other than Kendrick Lamar and maybe Future, and I mean, I don't even know if we can even consider Kanye West or Ye. I don't know if we can consider him totally industry no more. If
Kanye done lost his whole mind.
But that was earlier in the year. But after that, Kendrick Lamar and other than Kendrick Lamar, the underground been winning, man. I mean, you got to give respect.
These guys ain't really underground. These guys ain't really underground.
I'm gonna say
the underground have been in the game for like 20 years. The underground has been in the game for like 20 years. They're not underground no more. They just choose to play underground. But they're not like Rock Marciano is not underground. He just chooses to play in the underground.
No, he's underground, man. You ain't never heard Rock Marciano on your.
I mean, he's been out for 20 years.
I never heard, and I ain't never heard him on nothing. I never heard him on Hot 97. I never heard him on
Hot 97. And they'll pick up. He could call them and they'll pick up. He chooses to be underground, but he could call Hot 97 right now and they're gonna pick up for Rock Marciano.
Hey, well, either way, however we want to call it, those type of guys are the ones that's been doing the best. The industry guys, they've been really lacking. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest with you. So
I love Alchemist and his sound, but Alchemist is out here cooking Dr. Dre sonically. I know y'all think I'm talking about chopping loops, but that's not really what Dre is known for. I know y'all think that's what Dre is known for, but Dre is actually known for the sonics. Now, let
me ask you this.
Yeah.
Even though Alchemist been out for a long time, would you still really consider Alchemist underground? I still really consider Alchemist an underground producer.
Yeah, I have to because I recognize the style he's using. So the style, he's leaning on innovation. Another thing I'm going to talk about later. He leans on innovation. So when you try to do something that's never been heard, you automatically are putting yourself in kind of an underground thing because you're gonna do a style that's never been heard before. You know what I mean? That's what Alchemist, when a lot of his like the way what he's choosing to loop, like what he's choosing to loop is something a person would not do. They would go with something more smoother. He's gonna go with something more rigid. That's out of the ordinary.
Let me get back to the topic real quick. Cervon, what you wanted to say real quick?
I was just gonna say, man, like I feel like it was a great produced effort. Sonically, I agree with Leroy. Sonically, it sounds good compared to a lot of music we have gotten a lot of years. A lot of these newer artists, they don't like the mixed and mastered sound. They like it to still sound rugged or sound like it was done in your closet. You know, they like that sound, whatever. That's like the new sound. These younger guys really like that less produced sound for some reason. I don't know why. It feels good to really hear good produced music. So that's why I like this album, because the Sonics is there. It's greatly produced to me. I don't think it's trash. I think Snoop's spitting at a high level. And I just have to understand that this album is just, like I said, it's bigger than just the scope of hip hop to me, because I feel like they made it for a broader audience. And these guys have been in the game 30, 40 years. And
right,
to me, I feel like these guys are smart. They know what they were doing. Like, you think Dre and Snoop don't know what they're doing with the type of records that they did? You got something sadly mistaken. You know, like, these guys are guys that's been in the industry and can teach a master class on this shit. So I feel like their mission of what they want to do for this album, they got it done. You know, but I can't sit here and say it's trash. And that would be a lie to say it's trash.
Let me get to the super chat. And I did have a comment earlier that and I think I told the list of Leroy and Mike offline. Maybe I talked to you about that, Cervon and Super 2. That sometimes we can look at music from two different ways. We can look at music from a technical perspective. And that's where a lot of the Eminem argument comes in. Like, you know, I don't find Eminem's music dope, but somebody can come to me with an argument saying, you see how he technically, you know, broke down these bars and he had these double entendres and similes and metaphors.
Snoop is not technical.
But you can also look at music. You can also look at music from a spiritual level too. Does it hit you spiritually, right? Does it hit you emotionally? And I think some of these songs in this album, even though they're expertly crafted, kind of sound hollow. But let me get to the super chat real quick. Lord Vichai with the super chat says Boldy James was whack. Boldy James is okay. He was his
man. Come on, man. Hey, you better go back and listen to that. I don't know what are you talking about.
Let me get to the super chat real quick, Leroy. Y'all sleeping on Joel and Crook album? Yacht's song of the year. Okay.
Of course, I'm not sleeping on that album.
Let me get to these other comments real quick. I'm going to go through them real quick, and at the end, Leroy, you can respond because mainly you on the show on Monday, and then Cervon and Super, y'all can chime in as well. But let me run through them real quick because I think a lot of people took a lot of time to talk about this missionary joint. So Michael Brown, who's not no friend of mine,
he wrote an essay.
He wrote an essay. He's not my biggest fan, but I'm going to give him some shout out to Michael Brown. He said the
shout
episode.
Out to Michael Brown, man.
He don't watch when I'm on, but that's okay. This episode was unhinged with the slurping of this overproduced super pop missionary album, which even by today's standard, today's lowered hip hop album standards, just isn't any good. He's from the West Coast, I think, too. I think in a year or so, Dre or Snoop will do an interview basically apologizing to the fans for this Flow Rider Pitbull sounding BS, which is glossy, empty, and lacks soul. Fans, critics' criticisms, and the subpar first week sales are all indicators that the OGs just missed the mark here. Jason Martin's problem was right in his take on the album. It could have been better if Snoop and Dre recorded this after Kendrick's victory over Drake and after Not Like Us blew up. There's a lane in the mainstream for an updated West Coast sound to pop off commercially, as we're seeing right now with GNX. Rehashing a pop-sounding album at this point is just tone deaf. Snoop and Dre are just out of touch. I only watched this episode because he loves Mike. He has a man crush on Mike because Mike was present. But even his hot takes of saying this weed plate is way better than the Kendrick album was about as dumb and off base as it can get. This isn't even a top 30 project of the year. Daz's new solo album, The Adventures of Dilly the Dog, which dropped the same day as this album, is better. Daz isn't doing anything new on that album, but at least he's consistent and made enjoyable songs for his core. fan base.
Stop.
So Michael Brown, you have a lot to say, man. Let me get to another one. You bought into the
Hey,
hype.
hold on, Ron. Hold on, Ron. Hold on,
Oh,
man. For real, straight up. Hey, go back. Put his long ass story up. You know, and I mess with Michael Brown. Hey, Michael Brown, my guy, man. We talk in the chat. You know, what I'm saying I agree with him a lot. But man, on this, man, shame on you as a hip hop fan, fam. For real, shame on you, man. Shame on
Are
you.
you pop
Because
or is it?
because listen, I understand you not sonically liking the album. But what's the problem with Snoop on the album? Like if you want like you just saying the production. Like I don't like every beat on Get Rich or Die Trying, or I mean whatever album. I might not like every beat, but I can still relate to a song and be like, yeah, the song was cool, it's all right, it's all right. The way you come in at Snoop, it's like you really expected them to make the Chronic 2000 or Doggy Style 2. Like really, come on, man, you kind of sounding unreasonable, man. Like shame on you as a hip hop fan, fam, for real. Like
What
you
he's
wrong,
saying
man.
doesn't
Like
even make sense, man. I think
yeah,
the
he wrong.
people.
He wrong for that type of criticism, and like an artist got to
What
take a
he's saying
chance,
don't
man.
even
Like
make
like
sense.
we don't
We are
we
pop.
want our artists to grow, and then
The
you
audience is
complain
pop.
when they do something different. Like come on, man. Like
Yeah,
it ain't what you expected from them, but it ain't as whack as you trying to make it, man. Come on.
right.
can I take this essay off the screen,
The
please, and get to the next
audience is
comment?
pop, not Snoop. The audience is pop. You grew up in the pop era. Snoop grew up in the drug era. So you're pop, not Snoop. You have to know that. The music that you hear them sampling is what they heard during the Rick Ross crack wave of LA. That's what they're sampling. So to them it's not pop. It's very street. To us it is pop because well not me. I'm from the era they're from. But to you, Michael Brown, it's pop to you because you grew up in when the pop music started to take over. Snoop and we come from a different era. It's a street era. So the music they're sampling rings off to the street to us. So they don't know it's pop. Snoop doesn't think of it as pop. You know what I mean? He's from a different era.
Hey,
But
but
you don't know that.
I even agree with people thinking that the beats sound popish and stuff like that. Like I don't have a problem with like that type
The
of critique
clean,
of
it's
the album.
clean.
I agree
Hey,
that a lot of these beats sound very popish, and
polish, very
it's
popish and
not the
polish, and it lack
yeah.
they lack the soul. They
Y'all
I
lack
should
the
mean,
study
polished or
that.
not, polished or not, like it don't matter if they polished or not. Like the polishedness might work for somebody else. It just don't work that great for Snoop and Dre as what you think of what Snoop and Dre should be.
no
You know what I'm
doubt.
saying? Like Snoop and Dre don't gotta be this polished. And like it don't have to like for them, it's being extremely polished sounds popish or corny.
It
You know
sounds
what I'm
like
saying? They
it
don't have
sound,
to
it's,
be
it,
like
sound, it,
that.
sound, it sounds like Kingdom Come when Jay came back
That's
out.
that's Dre's
Kingdom
brand.
Come was very
Dre's
polished
brand.
sounding. You know what I mean? It was at a beach chair joint. It had beach chair. What else it had? It had Hollywood with Beyonce. It had what else did it have on? It had just these real like big sounding records. You know what I'm
Y'all
saying?
are these people are not like you don't what like what do y'all do when y'all go out with your wife or with your lady friend? Y'all doing like how do y'all move? Because you would have to understand that nightlife to understand what Snoop and Dre does. I went to go get some barbecue last week. It was a fraternity, a black fraternity. They was stepping in there like Chicago stepping. It was a bunch of OGs in there. So when I'm thinking of gorgeous and I'm seeing the OGs stepping, now I can kind of put together what is going on. But if you're not from that world, you know what I mean? Like this is an older generation than me. So I
No, fam,
understand, but
I
we
disagree.
don't
I took
understand.
I
my I took
disagree,
my
man.
I took my
I'm
But
wife.
an
I took
Dre's
OG,
brand
man.
is
I'm an
polished. Dre
OG,
made
man.
$1 billion
Hey,
off being
I'm 44
polished.
years old today, man. I'm an OG, and I don't want to
Look,
hear this shit nowhere. I don't want to hear
I took my
gorgeous
wife
I
to
nowhere.
hear
dinner.
you.
I
I hear
like,
you.
you know what
I
I
took
mean?
my wife to dinner on Saturday. I hopped in the car, put this on. She said, "Please turn this shit off." That's what she told me. That's
Yeah,
my
Well,
I don't
wife.
want to hear gorgeous nowhere.
Snoop not from Beverly Hills, man.
Let me
Trust me.
let me breeze
Long
through this.
Beach, trust me. You don't want to stop in Long Beach.
Hey,
Trust me.
let me breeze through these comments real quick, and then we can have a final discussion on this album. I want to get through all of them real quick, and then I'll let you guys respond. Lighter Lemon says you bought into the hype of Dr. Dre sitting next to a mixing board so much that it's gassing you up to think this sounds massive.
No, the
Okay.
sonic of this album is good.
Jay
Y'all ever
Short.
bought the
Hold on,
headphones?
let me get through them, guys. Let me get through them. And we can respond. Jay Short with the super chat, not the super chat, with the comment says, I still think Common and Pete Rock have the album of the year, but that doesn't mean this album is whack. We have to be real. Most hip hop fans are biased against the West Coast. They'll have an excuse not to like the West Coast music. Snoop was putting out West Coast sounding albums for the last 5 years, and nobody was streaming it. Now he decides to switch it up, and people are saying that they want the West Coast
He got a point.
album.
I mean, that's true. He does have a
He
point.
made a bunch of gangster shit the last 10 years. He been making gangster shit back to back. He made 10 albums while y'all was sleeping. Snoop made 10 albums of gangster rap, and y'all did not pay it no mind.
Yeah.
So now when he's trying to go out now and go outside of that, do y'all know the last 10 albums? Well, I won't say 10. I'll say about 8 of them. But still, that's a lot of albums, you know, and it's gangster rap. Y'all wasn't checking for that.
I just think people want to hear that with him and Dre at least once or twice on this album. That's all. I don't want to hear a whole album like that from him again. But I felt like if there's anybody we want to get that from, as far as him working with production wise, is going to have to be Dre. And I think people are just disappointed that they didn't get that.
Let me slide through a couple more. Let me slide through a couple more of these
So
guys. We'll have a chance to respond at the end. Let me slide through these real quick. Lighter Lemon says again, Mike wanted to like this album so bad he made himself like it. It's okay for legacy acts, but severely lacking and not dynamic enough. Okay, this next one says, I played Missionary 3 times in a row without skipping. The only other album that came out this year that had no skips was Common and P Rock. Anyone saying this album is mid are people who somebody just popped. I can't see. People I can't finish. Listen to modern rap.
People who listen to modern rap music with no meaning or purpose. Shout out to Snoop and Dre for doing their best shit musically. And yeah, Snoop's music has purpose. He's talking about escaping a Crip lifestyle to become Snoop. To make it out of Long Beach as a Crip, you better be on some John Wick stuff. And y'all don't know nothing about that. But for Snoop to make it out of there is incredible. Okay, in the era he's from. So, but that's what his music speaks to. Now, I'm not saying what y'all saying was wrong. Again, Cervon and Super made very good points that I can agree with.
Damn,
so
man, I said Leroy, I said the same thing they said. You don't agree with my points? Damn,
no,
man.
but look. They said that they could get some. No, you said something about soul. That the music was lacking soul. Well, the songs that they sampled are from the soul era, so I gotta disagree. The songs they're sampling are very soulful, so I don't know what but I can agree with Cervon and Super's point that the edge of Snoop being, we got to remember Snoop is still Snoop, and that edge was not there. But as far as the polish goes, you got to know that I keep saying Drake. Dre been selling headphones. Like, do y'all know that he sells headphones? That's why the music sounds the way it sounds. He's literally selling headphones.
Hey, let me slide through a couple more fellas. I'm almost done. RJ with the super chat says Missionary is already played out rhymes about played out themes and played out production. A lot of us are raised on these greats and respect quality music. This is mid to low tier quality, especially Snoop Dogg's rhymes. We get to
but you don't buy Snoop albums. So how are you a fan of Snoop when you don't buy Snoop albums?
This is one of Snoop's.
But look though, look though. Even if he's mid, that's cool too though. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop. Like, why? Hey, I agree. Like, I think the album is mid. It's a good mid album. It's fine. It's nothing really that don't make it whack just because it's mid and it's not like a classic, instant classic, or you feel like great about
he just gave y'all gangsta
like
shit.
It just came out the other day for one, so you ain't gave the songs enough time. You might put this album on, and like I said, man, I do this myself, man. I think we all do this as hip hop fans. Yes. You know, this is how you gotta. Sometimes we gotta intake our music better, man. Like, stop being so ready for instant gratification. Go back and listen to the album one more time. Some of these albums, sometimes when you hear that again, you'd be like, damn, it sound all right. Like, I when I first heard it, I wasn't listening to it with this ear, but the second time I heard it, I'm gonna give an example, man. And shout out to Kenny Mack in the chat. Kenny Mack is actually the person that put me on Rock Marcy, because I remember arguing with him back and forth, like, man, I don't really like him in the game. Like, and then he put up his famous thing that he put in the chat. He said, Rock Marcy don't rap for lames, or don't make songs, or don't make music for lames. And I'm like, you know what? let me go back and listen to this nigga one more time. And like I said, the second time I actually listened to him, I was hearing him with a second ear. My first time, because I wasn't used to the style, it was just something that, like, it turned me off just initially. But as as time goes on, man, you gotta like give yourself a little bit of a chance to like actually like shit. Don't just shit on it right away. And a lot of these people, like, I couldn't even get through it. You can't even, like, you didn't even hear the beat switches to the songs. You didn't even wait to Dr. Dre
Yeah,
was killing them
y'all
beat
don't
switches on
listen
a
to
lot of them,
y'all
man.
don't
Like I
listen
said,
to Snoop.
I
Like,
agree that some of the production on it is whack. But if you really listen to that album, some of them beat switches on there are like flawless. He got some flawless, nice beat switches. It's still not the Dr. Dre and Snoop sound that you want from them. But like I said, man, go back and listen to that shit one more time with a second ear, man. Like, sit back and relax. All right, you disappointed initially, but just listen to it for the music quality and the musicality and like the lyrics of Snoop and what it like the actual song making and the, you know what I mean, like the
yeah,
musicality of it.
these
Go
these
back and
people
relax and listen to it
these
again, man.
people would listen to Redman with the same ears they listen to Nas. Like, they would put Nas and Redman with the same listening. Like, Snoop is for you to have fun. I don't know if y'all know that, but the music is literally, it's technical, but it's not technical. Like, Snoop wants you to forget being technical and just you could tell it's just about having fun. I don't think most of y'all were having fun when you heard this album. You were
Man,
you were
I
picking
don't believe.
out you were picking out what you could say is whack. Like, oh, that's whack.
No,
That's
I
whack.
think I think the, I
You
don't think
didn't you
I don't
didn't have fun.
I don't
Snoop
think the
is
majority.
literally trying to make you get up and dance.
I
And I
disagree.
Hey,
don't
just
think none of y'all
let me
got up.
say this real quick, man. And I just want to say this, and like I said, I'm gonna be quiet. But these same dudes that's doing this to this Snoop album, right? When that West Side Gun album came out, they came and told you it was fire. That like they would, you know what I mean? Like they was going
Yeah,
ham that it was album of the year. This is his
yeah.
second best album of his catalog. These same dudes that's doing this
No,
right now was
no,
telling you that.
no, no,
So like,
Yeah.
you know what, man? Y'all gotta chill, man. Chill
no,
out,
no. I
man.
never heard
Chill,
nobody
man.
say that was the album was the second best of his. I never heard nobody
Man,
say
people
that.
was going ham on that album. It was a lot
Some
of
people said that.
overreaction.
Some people said that.
It
No,
was a
let me get
lot
to
of overreaction.
let me
It
get
was
to the
cool. I
super
thought it
chat.
was cool.
Let me get to the super chat, and Cervon, I want you to kind of chime in real quick. OJ Weston with the super chat said, "What's everyone's rating on this album?" Again, I'm gonna give you my rating. I'm gonna give it. What did I say? I want to make sure I don't contradict myself. I said I gave it 4.25 mics, maybe 7 out of 10. You know what I mean? I think it's a good album, but again, and this is my point. The edge to me equals soul. When soul has edge, it is to lack that for me, and I just can't. I can't really digest it in my
So you
palate.
love Common's album. If Soul has edge, then you love
Oh
Common's
yeah,
album.
be like water for chocolate.
Ain't talking
Those are
about being like water for chocolate.
those are some of my favorite. Those are some of my favorite. I told you my top 10. I got Common and P Rock in my top 5 of the year. But Mad
I,
Max with super chat says, "Hello, who hates the West Coast? Stop crying." Yeah, nobody hates the West Coast. I think people just like again. I think it's a very we got to be really
but Mad
careful. We got to be really. Let me finish. We got to be very careful when we say people are hating when they critique an album. People ain't just going into the album trying to find something to hate. They listen to the
Nobody on the
album.
West critique Snoop. Nobody from California critique Snoop. Soon as they press play, they rolled a joint.
So
They did not critique.
that's
They
cool.
rolled a joint. That's the
Nobody's
difference
above
between
critique though.
California
It
and
don't
y'all.
matter how much of a hater
Nobody,
you are.
nobody's above critique, Leroy. That's the thing.
No
Nobody's.
no one critiques Snoop. Now, if Snoop, now people in the chat, not y'all, people are saying it's whack. So if it's whack to you, that's one thing. I think if it was whack, people would be like, "Is this whack?" But nobody from California critiques Snoop.
Michael
They
Brown.
either
Michael Brown
think
just wrote an
or
essay.
they roll.
Michael Brown just wrote
They
an
do
essay.
not get all technical with Snoop. Like, Snoop is literally the guy that you just have fun listening to. Like,
Michael Brown be capping for the West Coast hard in his podcast. He
Michael
from the
Brown
West
is a
Coast.
sucker.
Okay.
Michael Brown is
Well,
a sucker. And all that
I
slurping
mean,
stuff he was
I think
talking,
this is
he
one of
made
those
that for
albums that I think it depends on how you really listen to music. You know, I'm a playlist listener. Like, you know what I mean? When I get in my car or in my truck, I just got back home. So, but usually when I'm on the truck and I'm listening to music, I really, if I'm not listening to the new music that came out, I'm adding the new music to playlists. So like for me, I judge songs on like if I'm riding down the highway or whatever, and if I didn't added the song to the playlist, if I like it or not. And I think that if you add some of these songs to the playlist, you ain't just gonna hate them and be like, let me cut this off. I mean, it's some horrible songs. Like I said, I think Thank You was horrible. I think Mary Jane or whatever with Jelly Roll is horrible. I think it's some horrible songs and some bad representation. And I don't think it's nothing that's gonna last. It's not gonna last. So if I had to rank the album out of 5, I would give it a 3.75. And
Don't
that's
watch the
and
Super
that's
Bowl because
and I
this is going
still
up
like
in the
the
Super
album.
Bowl.
I'm not, and that to me, that's not a bad album. I mean, we only go to 5, man. I mean, we give out too many 4s. We be generous with 4s and 4.5s and
Yeah,
4.2s and all that. I mean, a 3.75, that's above average. That's still a decent album. It's not a classic. It ain't super fire, but you know, it's an album from Snoop and Dre. It's a couple of tracks that you can listen to and ride to when you just driving in your car to work or whatever. It's not like something that you really going to the
exactly.
club to really bump and listen to. It's not like as bad as people trying to make it. Is all I'm
He
saying. Like
not
we lax, man.
Scarface.
We
He's not
overreacting, man.
Lupe. He's not Nas. Like this is the dude you just chill. You only chill with Snoop. That's it.
You
I'm
gotta
gonna give the
relax.
album out of 5. Not to go. I'm gonna give him 4.5 because my ear is still kind of technical. Now with my technical ear, I think they killed that. I'm sorry. Like I hear everybody. I'm not mad. I wish I could just go off feeling, but my technical ear is saying Dre killed that. And Snoop and the hooks, I don't know too many people that got better hooks. I mean, are their hooks the best hooks? No, like they're not the best hooks, but he has like a solid 10 good hooks. I haven't heard no albums this year with 10 good hooks.
Mad
I
Max is a
haven't
super
heard
chat.
a real 5 album or even an album that I would even really totally feel like comfortable giving a 4. Like a real
I got you.
comfortable 4 to be like, I mean, a 4 is like really when you think about it, man. If you're gonna give an album a 4, that means it's gotta stand the test of time. That you really actually like some songs and you're gonna listen to it 2-3
Oh, well,
years from now at least.
well,
It ain't
damn.
gotta be
Right.
classic
Well,
though.
I changed my rating then, Super Duper. If that's the criteria of a four a quarter album, I gotta give it 3.75 mics. But
That's what I mean. I don't think nothing wrong with that. That's
Play this for your
that's
homies. Go
that's a
get your
fair
friends
judgment
and
to
play
me.
it.
I don't think nothing wrong with a 3.5 album, man. I
hey,
really don't.
Mad
I
Max with
No,
the
really
no.
super
don't.
chat says Mad Max with the super chat says this is 2.5 mics. Lord Vachai with the super chat says, "Thank you." Is a party record. Mary Jane sounds great. Okay, all right.
Thank you sounds insane
All
to
right, well,
me.
we got some.
If they play Thank You at the Super Bowl, that's gonna be a
Man, I'm
hurricane.
gonna go. I'm gonna go give me some pizza and some. If they play "Thank You" at the Super Bowl, I'm gonna go give me some pizza and some wings. Go use the restroom. Come back. Hopefully, it's off. But anyway,
Why wouldn't they just play the original?
I'm gonna check my parlay and make sure I'm good. If they play that rank, I'm gonna go use the restroom, tuck my kids in, eat me some dinner, eat me some wings, and come back to the game afterwards. But before we
I
wrap up
like
this
Thank
subject,
You more than Not Like Us.
okay, that's interesting. Before we wrap up this segment here, what's the final words of the Snoop Dogg album? Because we're gonna get into Cervon's top 10 albums of 2024. But what's our final thoughts on this? Ending note, Leroy, go.
Ending note, Snoop, you're an icon. You made an iconic album. You can't, there's no more perfect in rap. It's no more perfect. The days of people just loving your album are gone. No artist gets love no more. Like no one. Kendrick is the only artist that people give love to. Every other artist they getting slammed on these podcasts and on these shows. So there is no love no more. So y'all did y'all thing, man. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Cervon, what's your final thought on this album before we get to your segment? What's your final thought on this album?
I think Snoop did no wrong on this album at all as far as his efforts. I do feel like there are some records that I wish that could have had more cultural impacts on it. I feel like I wish there was some stronger hooks throughout the album, but overall it's a good solid album. Sonically it sounds good to me. It sounds polished. But it's a solid album. That's what I give it. It's a good solid album. It's not trash. Um, People are saying it's dated. That even sounds crazy. I don't see where if it sounds dated, that means it should be sounding like Doggy Style, right? So I don't know what they mean by that.
If it
But
sounds dated, you should love it, right?
right. So I don't get that. But I think it's just a good solid album, man. It's one of my favorites for this year. I could say that. it's a solid effort. I have nothing wrong to say as far as Snoop. It's just, a couple of those records I wish that, could have had more of a cultural impact. But other than that, I think they knew exactly what they were doing, making this record and making the type of records that they made. And I don't think it's to be played in your local hip hop club, man. I think they're looking at stuff as beyond that at this point, and I think they know what they're doing. So I trust that they went in there and made this album with a bigger purpose than what some people want to keep them in a box in. Solid album at best.
Agree.
Super duper. Final thoughts on this album, Missionary.
My final thoughts on this album is I'm starting to hate rap fans, dog.
Me too.
I'm starting to hate rap fans, fam.
Now you feel me.
Like I'm starting to hate that y'all like don't want artists to do different things, and like everybody just won't even let an album sit. Like I said, man, half these people like I couldn't even listen to the album. And you sitting up here going ham in the chat. Like I just don't like it. I don't like you fans is just ridiculous for real, man. Like I honestly,
so you want more nuanced arguments, right? I get that, not the extreme arguments. So, but again, it could be an extreme argument that this is just the album of the year and the standard, the dopest album. To me, that's an extreme, and it's extreme to say the album is whack.
Far.
I think a lot of people said we were gassing the record on Monday, and people thought I think it was a reaction. I think some of what you're saying was a reaction to what Leroy and Mike were saying on Monday's show, that this is the best thing.
Mike was saying sonically.
And I was
Mike
one
was
of the people
sonically
in the chat going at them. Like, man, y'all talking about the wrong songs. Like, y'all trying to force people to think that Thank You and the song with Jelly Roll is like fire or something. Like, no, that's the wrong angle to be talking about this album. I mean, you do got the Negotiator right there. You do got other songs to be talking about. Y'all didn't even touch on the songs that y'all should have been talking about.
These people be saying they want high production quality. That's what they be saying. We want high production quality. Soon as Dre walks in the door, they be like, nah, it's overproduced. So it's like that's what Mike was speaking to. Mike was like, sonically, it is high quality.
Y'all the other day, man.
And now if there's a higher quality,
y'all was over highlighting Last Dance. Y'all was over highlighting Thank You. Y'all was over highlighting Gorgeous. Okay. Y'all was like, them are the wackest songs on this album. And if we go like
but y'all rock with country music, right?
Another part of me was Sting. That song is whack. Like that's like
y'all like country music, right?
I got no bill for good songs.
It's some whack country songs.
Last Dance is not a good country music song.
No, I know. No, it's not. No, not for Snoop.
Hey, man. No. I didn't know. When I listen to country music, they be talking about like their pain and going through pain. When I heard Last Dance, he's going through his pain. I thought that was the same.
I was in Nashville over the weekend. Ain't nobody playing that record, man. So you know.
Hey, but look though, all I'm gonna say, fam, is just as hip hop fans and like looking at Snoop, man, we gotta think, man. How old is Snoop? 50? He got to be like 52, 53.
He's 53.
How old is Snoop?
53.
Snoop, 53 years old, man. You can't say that. Like Shangri-La is not a bad song. Out of the Blue is not bad. Hard Knocks is not bad. Skyscrapers is not bad. Fire is not bad. I mean, the Guns and Smoke song, I don't like it like that. 50 was all right. Snoop was all right.
Gangsta Pose.
I love Gangsta Pose. Dude, I love Gangsta Pose.
Sticky Situation.
I love Now or Never. You know what I'm saying? I like the Negotiator. I mean, like I said, I like 9 tracks where, like I said, I'm not going to act like they just whack and it's just, but like I said, I do understand the initial disappointment and we ain't got to gas everything, man. Like sometimes we got to relax. And this is what I'm saying about we give out 4s too quick.
I was being honest.
Like we be too quick to just say that we like something or we don't like something. And really sometimes we need to like give this shit a week. And another spin.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe.
I think when Snoop and Dr. Dre go outside, I think it's gonna be pandemonium with this album. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
I don't think there's a pandemonium song on
here. We'll see. I don't think. I think it's 2024, not 1994. But
this weekend, I want y'all to turn up that music. Turn up Snoop's album loud. Open your window and play that music outside and look at the people in your neighborhood. Now
I'm gonna
I
tell y'all how
promise
to
you.
listen to these albums.
I promise
This
you
is
they
how
gonna
you. This
start
is how
dancing.
you listen to that
Well, they
album,
might.
man.
The people in my neighborhood
I
might call the police.
promise
The
you.
people in my neighborhood might call the police on me. So I don't know if I'm gonna do that. That's not good
They gonna
advice
hear
for
that
me.
music and be like,
Nah,
yep,
they
yep,
gonna
yep,
call the law on me. But,
yep.
but
Hey, when you listen to this album, just skip shit. It's really just so it don't ruin it for you, because some of these songs will ruin the album experience for you. I totally agree. Like, just skip when you go along. Go ahead and skip Gorgeous, man. I know I don't like it. I skip it. I'm skipping
I skipped
Gorgeous.
it. I skipped it.
I'm skipping Last Dance. I'm skipping Thank You. I'm skipping Pressure. I'm skipping Another Part of Me. But the rest of the album you can bump,
all
gang.
right,
The rest of the
let's get.
album is fine, man.
Let me say this before we get to the next segment, because I worked a long time on these graphics for you. I mean, I hooked y'all guys up with some graphics. It took me all day to do this. I want to share my graphics. I want to put them on the screen. I want to see them. But let me just say this again. I thought the album was cool. I think Super talked me off, giving it too high of a grade. Thought it was a solid album. Again, it's like Gladiator 2. It's like Invincible's a dope record. I like Invincible, but I think people were
Yeah, I
gassing
like
it.
their point. I don't like your point.
Yeah,
I like Cervon
yeah.
and Super
Whatever.
Gladiator 2 is a good movie.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna say just I love the first Gladiator. I'm not saying it's the great. I'm not
Hey,
gonna say it's the
it's
greatest
mid
thing.
though. Gladiator 2 is mid. It's
Yeah,
mid. It's safe to say that, and
yeah,
that's
it's
all right.
okay,
It's
and
still
it's okay.
entertaining
It
enough.
wasn't,
It's
but
cool, but
it wasn't trash. It wasn't whack. It wasn't trash. And I'm just
it's
saying,
mid.
it don't linger. The movie didn't resonate with me like the
Now,
first
y'all
one
know who
did.
Denzel Washington out here is in this
Again,
acting world?
again, again, again,
Like,
again.
Denzel
That's my point.
Washington may be the
But so
greatest actor of all time.
that's not the point I'm making, Leroy. You don't be answering my points. Maybe you skipping around my points, man. I'm talking about something else. You talking about something else. But anyway,
All right,
Cervon.
My bad.
Cervon
My
had
fault.
the top 10 albums of 2024. He put together a nice comprehensive list. I saw the list when he sent it to me. He sent it to Mike. And I thought when I first saw it, I said, damn, this list looks
Trying to block that light.
similar to mine. But Cervon, I'm gonna cue you up.
Sure.
And we're gonna go with number 10.
Yep.
Number 10. What's number 10, B?
Missionary. Snoop. They make my number 10. It's number 10 on my list because, like I said, Snoop spitting at a high level. I love the sonics of the album. Like I said, I need some stronger hooks. I want like those cultural type sounds on it, but otherwise it's a nice solid album for this year compared to a lot of the music that dropped. So they earned he earned my number 10 spot right here.
All right. Number 9.
Big X the Plug, Take Care. I feel like it's an underrated album. Guy did his thing representing the South. I love the samples on the album. He held it down with no features. And I feel like this is a great project that people should go listen to. I mean, it rides. He was floating on every beat on the album. He's repping Dallas pretty good, man. And that came out a couple months ago or a few months ago, if I'm not mistaken. Solid album. My favorite song off that joint is a sample off the Isley Brothers' Contagious. That's my joint. So go listen to Big X the Plug, man. He's really doing his thing. Independent. He's dope.
All right. Number 8. I messed up on the graphics, y'all, but we're gonna write the number 8. Number 8 is Freddie Gibbs.
Yep, You Only Die Once. Now, this is one of those ones I feel like is underrated as well for this year. He floated on every record. The sound is it's kind of playing off the series of how it's been going, but I think Freddie Gibbs doesn't get credit for how much of a solid project he delivered this year. I didn't skip through nothing on that whole album. I put that on and let that flow. So if you haven't listened to it, go visit that one because that's a pretty good project for this year.
Now you just underrated the album yourself.
You said what now?
I said you just underrated that album.
How so?
By putting it where you're at. But go ahead. I'm just talking.
Nah,
Go ahead.
wait till you see what else I got.
Okay.
We got you. Yep.
All right, number 7.
Go ahead.
Number 7.
Alligator Bites Never Heal. I love what she's doing right now. I took a look at her Tiny Desk concert. I looked at some of her performance from some festivals. Man, the way she raps without background vocals live. She's such a polished performer already, and I feel like she did a great album, a great body of work with not really having a lot of content as a lot of other female rappers. I really think she's good with the pen. She brings a different style. Some people kind of compare her to Kendrick, but I think she stands in a class of her own compared to her peers. That's a great, solid album. Or mixtape. Calling it a mixtape.
Hey, I agree with you on her too, man. The way I look at her, I really think that she almost using hip hop for something else. Really, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like
she's
she very animated. She talented as hell, and you know she almost feel like she's supposed to be in movies or something like that.
yeah, for her to be from TDE and had been over there since 2022, and she could sing and she could rap, and her as a performer, I mean, I think she's kind of reshaping this way how we got to start looking at female
She dope.
rappers.
She's fine.
Because when you compare it to the rest of the other, female rap acts that's out, man, she's kind of standing on a hill on her own, man. I really like Doechii.
Number 6.
Common and Pete Rock, The Auditorium. Great classic sounding hip hop. Common being Common at his best over those Pete Rock beats. It just sounds good, man. This is what hip hop sounds like. You want to know what hip hop sounds like? This is what it sounds like. I really like this. I really like this project. I didn't listen to it when it first came out. Ron and Mike actually made me believers. I haven't went and visited a Common album in a long time, so this is one that I was actually pleased about. I listened to it recently, and I was like, yeah, this is one of my favorites for this year. It's the content, the production. I think that's really a dope album to me.
Number 5.
Glorilla, Glorious. Man, she had the streets on fire. We have to give her credit, man. She has big records on there. I also think Glow has been better on her performances. I think she's killing right now. There's a reason why she deserves to be the number 1 hip hop female artist right now as far as her impact. Glow, we seen her come up from, F&F to now, and it's just like, yeah, I dig what she's doing, and it shows like she's not letting up right now. She got her foot on the gas, and I expect to hear more great music from her.
Number 4.
Tyler the Creator, Chromacopia, man.
Wow.
Yeah. Great project for me, man.
He said, "Wow."
Great project. I like the sonics of that album. I think that the story
Very polished. Very polished.
And I feel like the story on there is pretty dope. I feel like Tyler's been on a nice run as far as his projects. And honestly, he had a line that was similar to saying, besides Kendrick, he's the one out the West. That's the one. And I can't disagree. He's been coming with it every album, man. And it's different. I have no complaints about that album whatsoever.
Fire.
Hey, before you move on, man, let me just say this, man. I'm gonna keep it real and 100. I didn't listen to the Tyler Creator album, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But after he did that Funk Master Flex shit, I'm like, yeah, I ain't never checking for this guy's music again. Like I can't judge it properly. It might be album of the year, so I don't.
He's
don't
a troll.
Like I didn't listen to it. You know what I mean? And like after that Funk Flex, I just haven't even paid attention to the dude. So
yeah, I was like that at first too.
His brand is trolling. He's a troll.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I didn't. That's kind of the reasons why I kind of never gave him a fair listen. But my little sister, she's in college, and she was telling me, Tyler the Creator album has been solid, and I had to go back and listen to those previous albums, and I listened to this one, and I was like, yo, he actually makes good bodies of work, man. And I like the concept of this album. It was pretty good, man.
Musically, Tyler is very good. Musically, Tyler is very good.
And I like that he takes pride in the making an album. I like certain artists to see what their mind frame is going into an album. And I feel like he's one of those ones that still appreciate being an individual and having his own sound. And, I can't take that away from him, man. That's a good project.
Right. Before, one thing that Troy Ave said, shout out to Troy Ave. Troy Ave called Tyler a weirdo rapper. He says that's a category called weirdo rapper. So we're gonna get Troy on the show to talk about that.
I mean, honestly, that's
but
how
he was dissing.
I feel like that too. I'm not even giving that weirdo a chance. I don't even care what he's saying. Like I don't care. The music can be great. Like he ain't getting the chance for me right now.
Only
Number
thing I don't
three.
like about that, only thing I don't like about that is Troy was like, you know what, Kendrick is a weirdo, but I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean weirdo is cool, but Troy, you know you was dissing Kendrick, so just say yeah, I'm dissing you. Don't say
Nah,
it's
man,
not a
that's a
diss.
different kind of weirdo. Like
You
I
know what I'm
guess Tyler
saying?
the Creator got a little more baggage than Kendrick got as far as like
I just
why
don't think that people should look at his
I don't
antics.
want to listen to him.
I don't think people should look at his antics as a representation of his music. I mean, there's some in some previous joints he did some stuff here and there, but like for the most part, this album conceptually is a good album. Like how he has like the beginning intros, is like his mom is like it's kind of like him growing up a little bit, and it's through there. It's a really solid effort in how conceptually this album is put together.
I
I
mean,
really like.
I think dudes is too invested in rappers' personal sexual lives. Like, I don't care what rappers do sexually. I just want music. Like, I
Man,
think
they
that
gonna,
You
that,
hey,
don't even
that
somebody
his
gonna chop,
album.
somebody gonna cut that and chop that up
I
and
just I just care about rhymes and beats. These dudes actually care about who rappers are sleeping with. That's weirdo to me.
My thing
That's
is like
I
this
mean,
how I know people are not listening to the music, because if you listen to what his albums have been for these past few runs, it's nothing of what those antics are. So I'm like, people are just ready to criticize without even going to listen to the music, and that's a definition of a hater to me, because you haven't even listened to it for you to form an actual opinion on what it's about. Like damn the antics, the music is there. Go listen to it. If you and then
I
tell me
mean,
what you
for
think.
me, I like I said, I get what y'all saying, but once Lil Nas X slid down on the devil dick, I just never cared what he had to say again. You know what I'm saying? Like I
right.
didn't check for his music again. But once not Chance the Rapper, but once dude did what he did, it was just like, all right, I'm done. Like
I
I
can
ain't
understand
listening to
that,
this
because
guy
I
no more.
wasn't a fan of
You know what I
Tyler
mean?
either.
So
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a fan of Tyler either. Like I said, my sister in college, she put me on Tyler. Not the last album, but the album before that, and then I just started checking for his stuff when it dropped, and I'd be like, "Yo, his bodies of work is actually pretty solid. Like he can actually do his thing on his on
I
the
mean,
album."
this ain't just
let's
rap.
get to
This
let me
ain't
get to
just a
let me get
rap
to let me
comment.
just get through the list real quick. Let me finish
This
the
is
list real
just
quick.
culture.
Number
Like,
3.
Number 3, I got Schoolboy Q, Blue Lips. And I feel like if he would have released this album later on in the year, it would have got more love than what it did, basically with, the whole thing with Kendrick dropping and all that. I feel like I think it was a first quarter drop, if I'm not mistaken. So it kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit, but man, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Blue Lips, like Schoolboy Q always comes with it. And I tell people, if you want to go listen to like your TDE artists, Schoolboy Q is one of those guys that always deliver album wise. So I really wish he would have released it closer, like let's say third quarter, or even it would have even did great in this fourth quarter. But I think it's a real solid album, man. Schoolboy Q, he just have that high level music. Like when it comes, it's like a rush, like with that joint. And I was like, yeah, I like this. So I have no problem with this album. I feel like it deserves to be in the conversation.
Number 2.
Number 2, Corday Crossroads. Yes, solid album. Again, similar to the Tyler the Creator album. I like this because conceptually it's a story. He was very honest on his album. He talked about multiple things like his mom, her attempt of trying to be an artist, and I love his features by Lil Wayne. He went 2 for 2 with Lil Wayne on his album. Very solid effort. I feel like his stories, the concept, all of that is great for this album. Corday actually needs to get need to get more love for how dope of an album it was. He really did his thing on it. And he honestly kind of never disappoints album wise, because the last album was pretty solid too.
hey, would you consider Corday underground?
No, because he has an audience that I feel like is just I don't know, man. I feel like people know who he is, but I don't consider him when I'm looking at his albums and who he features, that's not something that underground artists get. He has big features on his albums, man. And like I said, him and Wayne never misses, bro. Their features are always solid. I feel like Cordae is just one of those guys that just flies under the radar, but always constantly keeps delivering.
I mean,
And he's
Currency can get a feature from Wayne, but he's still considered underground. I mean, like I still look at Cordae as an underground artist, or even Schoolboy Q. I don't look at Schoolboy Q as really a mainstream artist, like like a Drake or a Future or a 21 Savage or a Kendrick. I don't really look at them as like that. I think they still, like us. They more underground. They got their cult following. They got their niche fan base that's into them and
I
that's
think
really
I
checking
think
for them.
it
That
pays. I think it
huh?
pays more to be underground now than to be mainstream. Now people would be like, that
Well,
doesn't
yeah.
make sense. But just counting up the dollar for dollar, right? Of what underground vinyl is selling right now. If you look at that, that's crazy. But I think controlling your market underground, you probably can make more than betting on that mainstream hit. And we all know the mainstream is fire, but you gotta bet hard in the mainstream. You gotta put a lot of money down to get a lot of money back. Underground,
Hey,
you could
for
come.
me, it no, for me it's just how I look at artists. I mean, I even like a Benny the Butcher. I know he signed to Def Jam, you know what I mean. But I still look at Benny as like an underground artist. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like a knock on him, or it's not like saying I'm not trying to demean him or nothing like that. I'm just saying like the way the way
I
that
got
I think about them, I still look at them kind of as like underground artists.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess to your point, Super, I guess we can't call Cordae a household name, but I feel like people are familiar with who he is. But I like his story on this project, man. I think it's a solid project, and like I said, the songs and what he's talking about is there's a lot of personal records, and I like the Kanye influence on the album. He has a lot of those old Kanye influence records as samples or whatnot on there, so it still gives you that beginning Kanye Chicago feel to it as well. But
right.
this is one of those albums I've been revisiting a lot. So I really like this joint.
All right, and number one, without further ado, let's get to number one. Drum roll. Cervon's top
Yeah.
album
No
2024.
surprise.
We know what it is. We know
No
what it is.
surprises here, man.
What it
Yep. The impact of
Okay.
this album, the
Fire.
impact of the album, the great year that he had. People complain, oh, he doesn't do West Coast sound of music, which sounds like bullshit. He had MC8 on his first album, on his first real release, Good Kid, Mad City. I feel like he gave the people what they wanted, and people still found a way to complain, which is weird as hell. But Gianette's good produced album. He had the bops. He addressed everything he wanted to address, and I feel like he's not finished. I feel like there's plenty more to come, and he put his foot on people's neck, man. So to have that,
I heard he got more disses. I heard he actually had a whole clip of disses, and he just stopped because Drake stopped. You know what I mean? But he actually had more. But go ahead.
yeah, man, and being that like he didn't really have to use the Drake anchor for this album because he made a lot of points. Like Man in the Garden, he didn't tell one lie on there. I feel like as far as the project and it being solid, um, what more can you say for a guy that had a year like such? I don't see how nobody wouldn't have him in the top 10. One thing about it, I don't really like doing top 10s because I'm with you, Super. I don't like the new hip hop fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be somebody that's going to critique what you like what you like. I like what I like. But this top 10 list is my personal favorites of what I've listened to so far. I know I threw Missionary on there as it being something that is fairly new, but when I'm thinking about who deserves to have that number 10 spot, would it be LL? LL gave me a solid album, but no, I haven't revisited. Would it be MC Light? Nah, solid effort. Would it be
West
you
Side
know
Gun?
Gun? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? Like there's when I'm looking at this top 10 and people have so much to criticize about it, you giving me a top 10 that's stronger than this top 10 then.
I
There's
got
only
LL. I got LL at number 2.
there's only so many albums that dropped in 2024, and if people critique this list, then it's like, yo, cool, like what you like, but if
It's your
you
list.
it's my list, but it's like
your list.
I don't know what people like I said, man, there's so many haters and it's air that they could tell you what they don't like. They can tell you what's better. Tell me what's better, you know. And I
It's
just can't
100
pay.
albums that came out, y'all. It's
Yeah,
100 albums that
tell
came out.
me
We're
what's
not
better.
gonna have the same list. It's impossible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't really get into it with the internet fans, bro. Those are the albums that stood out to me this year. There was some project that I was hoping I was gonna drop this year, but we may get it next year, and I think that's gonna be Game's album. So I'm looking forward to that one because Game really doesn't miss album wise. But yeah, I don't really like doing the top 10 list, but those are my favorites. And like I said, I see a lot of top 10s, and I don't see nobody mention Big X the Plug, man. And that guy, he gave a solid project. And I feel like people are now coming around to Doechii. And I feel like Doechii gave a good project too. Like this is my favorite solid list for this year, and I can give reasons to why for every single one of them. So I'm cool with my list, man. And everybody else, you don't like
Hey,
it.
your list is good. Your list is good, bro.
Yeah,
Your
It
list
is
is
what it is.
fine.
and again,
Oh,
music,
bro, I am
music,
not tripping about that shit, man. I'm a grown ass man.
I mean, what's wrong with your list? Like your list is fine, bro.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
music
It's
is
cool.
subjective. Music is subjective. Music is personal. So again, that's why I've been trying to articulate to Leroy for a very long time. It's not always technical. It is a very spiritual,
I'm sorry.
personal thing. And some people like things, and some people don't, and it's okay. Like I said, my list.
But it's like two things. It's like two things here. Niggas say, "Oh, it's a safe list." Nigga, did you see what albums dropped this year? This is
Hey, but no, we shouldn't do that though. I think it's been like I was on mute, and I like your list, like as far as like because I think it depends on what you really like and into. This really wasn't a bad year, and this is why I keep saying that, man. We saying mid too much to act like mid means bad. I mean, that means that the album was listenable and it was good, really. When you think about it, that don't, you know what I'm saying? So if we got a whole year, even if you want to say that there's no, like for me, I don't think there's no clear-cut true album of the year picker. Like I wouldn't be surprised if anybody would win it. I couldn't be mad if anybody chose whatever. Or if this is like if Kendrick won it, I couldn't be mad. If Snoop won it, I couldn't really be mad. You know what I mean? Like I think if Freddie Gibbs won it, I couldn't be mad. So you know what I mean? Like I think that this is one of those years that we got a lot of music. If Rock Marciano got it, I wouldn't be mad. You know what I mean? Like I think that like we got a good variety of music. The artists they came through. Now everything wasn't fire, and like I said, I definitely agree that every album wasn't fire, but your top 10 album of the year is going to be different than mine, and mine's going to be different than yours. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's a good thing for music. I think musically we got a nice selection. We got something to talk about and argue about, and that means that we actually got some decent music for the culture and for the fan base. You know what I'm saying?
We got good music.
I mean, because me personally, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have Common in my top 10. Like, I didn't enjoy the album like that. But so many people did enjoy the album like that. I wouldn't have it like I'm not trying to shit on it. It would be further back somewhere, maybe 15. But I'm just
we
saying,
got a lot of albums.
It didn't make my top 10, and I think that's a great thing. Like overall, like you know what I'm saying. I think that's great when you really think about it. We got a buffet of music, and you got a variety to choose from, and it depended on what you like. I mean, other years
we got like 25 dope albums, y'all. This year we got like 25 dope albums.
I had one honorable mention that didn't make the list, and that was the Future "We Don't Trust You," the first one that he dropped. I know he dropped two albums in a mixtape this year. Was that what it was?
Yeah,
that
two albums in the mixtape.
Yeah, that first project he dropped was pretty solid, but it didn't make my list because I kind of felt like it's not. I feel like I've heard bigger and better from Future, but it was a solid album. It's just that when you see what his work was beforehand and you compare it to the rest of that stuff, kind of like
Well,
see, I like me personally, I thought that album was better than GNX. You know what I'm saying? Like me personally, like I thought the songs was better and bigger. I thought it was, it was Sonic. I thought it was better. I thought it was better than GNX, and I still do. I think so that's what I mean. Like I wouldn't, even though that album might not make my particular top 10. And like GNX wouldn't make my top 10 either, personally either. But I cannot argue you down and act like you just crazy because
No,
there's just such a winner out there, or that this album has
no.
been just so much better than that album. We all should be able to make our list and talk about it. And like this one of them years that I mean, it's a good year to
Well,
pick
like
from.
what you were
It's
saying,
great.
like
It's a good year to pick from.
they're saying mid, but mid means middle. Am I wrong? Like middle?
Yeah.
We got a lot of albums that were good. They now, if we want to argue about greatness, that's fine. But we did get albums that were good, y'all. We got like 20 something other albums that were good. So it's like we gotta salute that. That we have so many that our lists are gonna be different. That's a
Well,
good problem.
let's get to the next list real quick because I want to go through my list really quickly. Then we'll go to Leroy. Leroy, I might put you last since you dissed me early, man. I might let Super go first, and then you go. You bring up the rear, man. You gonna go last, Leroy. But
Yo.
I went I did the song route. So this is my list again for the top 10 songs. I don't know. Can y'all read it? Can y'all see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep. I see it.
I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, right? So the top 10 songs for me in the year of our Lord 2024. I'm sorry. Free Shots by West Side Gun. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite records. It got that soul sample. It got Conway on it. That's one of my favorite. I like when they go back and forth. Like the Steiner brothers, like Hall and Nash. You know what I mean? So Free Shots, my favorite record from the new West Side Gun album. It's gonna be controversial. Y'all gonna say this is whack, but for me, I'm a father. I got 3 children. So On Up by Big Sean. Him talking about his son growing up, how time is passing, you getting old. It reminded me of the Alchemist record, Seasons Change, talking about, watching your seed grow and how life is just moving so at the speed of light. And shout out to the Jodeci sample, like Get On Up back in the day when I used to go to school. I used to play that joint every day to get on up, get dressed, you know what I'm saying, and hit the bus, catch the bus. Got to shout out to the A. I got, Super. I kind of took some of your. I kind of got some of your. I changed my. I changed my list a little bit. 101, say 101 was rocking the clubs. You know what I'm saying? 101 was rocking the clubs. Gunna. I'm gonna put Trying, Common and Pete Rock. This song did not make the album. I don't know. I don't know why, but to me, if that had made the album, it probably wouldn't have been the best song on the album. I mean, it had the loop was dope. The sample was dope. I thought it was cool. I had to pluck this one from Super 2. I forgot about this joint when I sent him my initial list. 21 Savage, Red Rum. I mean, it's 21. I mean, 21 is one of the most wittiest rappers in the game. I've liked 21 since No Heart. You know what I'm saying? When he was with Metro back in the day. I mean, he's a cerebral rapper on the low, right? He's very cerebral with it. And a lot of people be hating on 21, but 21, this record was dope. I'm gonna take you to Memphis, man. Shout out to Memphis, man. Key Glock. We don't talk about Key Glock at all on this platform, and Key Glock low key is dope. I mean, we talk about Glow, we talk about, we talk about Money Bags, we talk about Gotti a little bit, but we never talk about Key Glock. We never talk about the paper route. You know what I'm saying? But this was a record called Let's Go, the remix with Dolph, and it sounded like Dolph was still alive. I mean, they must have recorded this before he transitioned, because the way they were going back and forth and the way that Dolph slid on that beat, one of my favorite records of 2024. Me, 6'6", the best Kendrick Lamar song of this year to me, and this is just me, is 616 in LA. I don't know if it's a sample, but I like the way that he approached the record. You know what I'm saying? It reminded me of Section 80 Kendrick. Well, not a lot of the vocal theatrics. He's just rhyming on it. And it was just smooth. I mean, he slid on it. To me, it's the best song that I've heard from Kendrick Lamar in a very long time. My favorite song from him is 616 in LA. And I think that was the best song out of all the, even Not Like Us. This is the song I listen to the most. Red Leather. Now, before you start, saying what the hell is Red Leather, this is on the second Metro and Future album. And this is like a song you can hear with your lady if you like it, one of those little blues spots, City Winery. What's a Cafe Intermezzo? If you somewhere with your lady riding in the car on vacation, it is a real nice guitar lick, guitar loop. Metro got down on the production of it, and it showed the versatility of Metro as a producer, because all those drums are removed, those little kits are removed. It's just a guitar. It's bass, guitar and bass. And then Cole had perhaps his best verse of the year that folks don't even know about. He just, he killed it. I don't know how many bars he had, man. I don't know if he had six, he had more than 16. He was just rapping for damn near 2-3 minutes, man. He was killing that joint. So it's a really smooth record.
Yeah.
Listen to your lady. So Red Leather. I'm gonna go Black and Whites. Now, arguably, we can say this person, this producer, Alchemist, may have the best year in hip hop. I think he dropped 3 projects. He got the one with Rock Marciano. He got a solo album. He got the one with Hit Boy and Big Hit. And this is my favorite record off the album, the Gang Green joint. So I mean, he might be
he dropped his own too.
The busiest man in hip hop is Alchemist. He might have had the strongest year in hip hop. So, but I like the video. I like the visuals of this record, and I like how Hit Boy, Big Hit, and I like how Alchemist slid on this. So, and shout out to that Seasons Change record. I was going to put that on there, but I didn't want to be too sentimental, too sappy. I wanted to kind of give y'all something different. And shit, y'all be hating all y'all want, but Little Durk, you know what I'm saying? Little Durk slid on this. Even Ye slid on this. Vultures, Vultures is a crazy record. I was in Vegas when Vultures came out, and man, Vultures had the whole strip turned up. I mean, I'll forget that was a big record, big record. You know what I'm saying? So Bump J, you know what I'm saying? Bump J slid on that joint too. So that's my top 10 list. I'm gonna put the playlist in the description of the video. I'll put all of the lists in the description, but that's my top 10 list of 2024. Hate it or love it. What y'all think, fellas?
Hey, it's
I
solid.
hear you, eh?
Is my list whack? Is it dope? What?
Nah, that's solid. I didn't really like the Big Sean album,
it's not
but I
whack.
did like what you got on there.
All right.
It's not whack. I saw a Kanye interview with him and Elon Musk. It was comedy, but it's not a whack list. Go ahead. Okay.
I just think you chose some of the wrong songs on the same albums. On the same albums that you got.
I had Go Yard. I had Go Yard Guard on mine too, but I'm not gonna give away your list. I'm not gonna give away your list. So
you got graphics for mine?
I got you. Let me get these super chats real quick.
Okay,
and
I gotta pull my list up.
I got your graphics, man. I got your graphics. Let me pull up the super chat real quick. Mad Max with the super chat says, I'm at work right now, but if you do the weekend round, which you will do the weekend round, people have been asking if we're going to do the weekend round. Weekend round will be back, even though it's a really complicated weekend because the college football playoffs is this weekend and we got NFL. It's going to be tough, but we're going to squeeze it in. So we might do like a pre-recorded weekend round. I don't know, but we will let you know. We might do it live Saturday a little bit earlier so we can watch these games. So Mad Max will let you know. Mad Max with the super chat also says, can't wait to hear y'all. Well, can't wait till y'all hear my list. Okay, Saturday we'll cook it up. All right, so let me get Super's list up. Let me get Super's list up because I want to make sure I get Super right here. So Super's list.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me pull yours up. Okay, cool.
You.
Oh damn! I messed your list up, man. My bad, Super.
You got a couple. I got
West Side Gun. I got West Side Gun as the Kendrick picture. My bad.
Instead of Kendrick.
I'm
listen, man. At this point, man, to not have Kendrick, like I said, I don't know if we were just making personal lists, or we were just like what the culture feeling. You know,
my list is.
So my list is what the hip hop fan culture was feeling. Like I probably could have made a little list that would have been more personal. So I didn't really try to do that. I was just really just thinking about what was the songs that I was hearing the most while I was out, like, in the club. Y'all know I'm an intercontinental champ, man. I'm just getting back in town. So for me, Not Like Us, to not have Not Like Us on your list is just damn near hating at this point. Come on now. Like, even if you don't like it, it's gonna win Song of the Year. It's gonna win
for sure.
It's gonna, like it or not. That is one of the songs that set off that you couldn't even stop hearing before. You couldn't stop hearing Not Like Us. To say that Like That is not one of the top 10 songs of this year is just ridiculous. Like, come on now. So those 2 songs alone. Euphoria. Right when we didn't think that Kendrick was coming out, right when everybody was doubting him. I even said that, I don't think that Kendrick gonna respond. I think that he think that beefing is beneath him. I didn't think that he was even going, I didn't think that he was gonna even respond. He came back and he shook us with it. And Euphoria really is fire. Like, It's way better than like that to me. I still enjoy Euphoria, like his rhyme pattern and style, like the way he was really rapping on that shit. Like I enjoy it more than
It
Not
was
Like
fire.
Us, not like that. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's fire. So I mean, like them
Yeah.
3 songs alone, man, to not have them 3 songs in the top 10 is just utterly ridiculous right now at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just, other than if you just giving your opinion. I mean, we all didn't really I'm not saying that I enjoyed them personally like that, but I can't recognize the impact that those 3 songs alone made. Then we can't even get past the fact that before Like That came out, y'all forget that, man, it's been a long year, man. Kanye year was snapping. Carnival was like probably the #1 hip hop song before Like That. Like we it's been a long year, man. We forgetting the impact that Carnival had. That Carnival, you couldn't go nowhere without hearing that. Got to give it to Glorilla. That TGI Friday, I never played it personally myself. I never got in the car and got in my semi and headed to Jersey and put on TGI Friday. But when I got to the club, when I hit the bar, when I got there, that shit was on. And all the ladies was going wild from here to Las Vegas. It didn't matter where you was at. That's one of the top 10 songs of the year, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Now, the rest of my list is more personal and where I kind of put my personal opinion in. The Common and Pete Rock. I thought The Fortunate was the best song on the album. And I thought that it's one of the best songs of the year. Honestly, whether I like that album, I don't think the album is a top 10 album of the year, but I definitely think that Fortunate is a top 10 song
I
album of the year,
love
production wise,
Fortunate.
rhyme wise, and all that. So I got
I
Fortunate
love
in mind.
Fortunate.
Shay Noir. For me, it ain't Big Skies, it's Vanilla Skies off her little 7-track LP, where she go into her life and all the shit that she kind of been through. It's a little bit more personal, you know what I mean? But I love that beat. I like the way she was rhyming on it. I like the story she was telling on it. So it's Vanilla Skies, not Big Skies rhyme.
My bad. I butchered your list. I got your list all messed up, Sue. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
fix it, bro. I got
How
you,
you
bro.
gonna mess this man list up, man?
And this is no particular order, y'all. I'm just speaking on the song. So I didn't really my list. I didn't label them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't really do that like that. But I would just say however you want to pick it, because like I said, this year, depending on how you like it. I mean, you look at it. My list got, for me, I think I got a lot of underground guys on here, and I got a lot of mainstream. It's like even. It's not filled up with a bunch of guys on there. But you
Right.
forgot Red Rum. You took Red Rum off my list. That was on my list. Was Red Rum.
Would you send me 12 records though? So I cut that one out.
I did. But I really just, because I didn't, when my initial list, I didn't really want to put Not Like Us on there, because that's like obviously the song of the year. It's so obvious. It's like everybody should have that on their list. It's like obvious as hell. You know what I'm saying? And even like that, I put those 2 songs on there because they just the obvious picks damn near of the year. I mean, you couldn't go nowhere without hearing those 2 songs. Damn near TGI Friday is one of them obvious picks. That song is still popping everywhere. I'm about to go out in a minute. That shit's gonna be on probably when I walk in the club. You know what I'm saying? And it's winter. It's 32 degrees up here. You know what I'm saying? So that song it made impact. But on my personal, just as far as me just liking the song, I added my 4 picks, and those are Go Yard God by Rock Marcy, and that's probably my most played song of the year. Thank God for You by Schoolboy Q. You know what I'm saying? That's another one of them songs that just I played that shit like constantly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When
That
I
was
heard it. And Higher Level from Killer Mike. I love the way they flipped that sample. I love, like I said, for me, that Killer Mike album is fire. And you know what I mean? I like the way that they did that ghetto gospel aspect. And that Higher Level is one of the highlights of that, what I mean by ghetto gospel. When you listen to that album, that's definitely one of them ghetto gospel tracks that I could listen to that right now. I'm gonna get in the car and play it. You know what I mean? So that's my list, y'all.
Yeah, David T. I'm definitely docking my pay this week, man. That's my bad. I was moving too quick on the list, but I'm gonna post Super's list. I'm gonna edit it after the show and put Super's list on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook to make sure it's a proper pictures. And I that's my bad. So I apologize, but y'all got the gist of it. Y'all got the gist of it. Got the gist of it. So Leroy, since you did not respect my opinion, You diss my opinion, and you
See,
try to
you
team
gonna
up with
keep going,
you
man.
try to team up with Cervon and Super against me. You will go last, sir. So these are your
Be
top
like
two.
that.
And OJ Weston, we're gonna do that. We did the albums a couple shows back, but we can pull up next week before the end of the year and do one more album show and just have graphics for Super's list, my list, and Mike's list. And but Mike said all number 10, 1 through 10 is Missionary. So there's no sense to do Mike's list because he said every album of the year, the top 10 is Missionary 9, 10, 8, 7, 6. I'm just joking. But anyway.
Yeah, leave that man alone, man. Come on, man.
I'm just messing with him. I'm messing with him. I've been roasting him all day. So Leroy, your top 10 list.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, I went with what I personally like. These are the songs that I really listen to the most. Now, when it comes to Kendrick, we all know Kendrick been out here cooking. Doechii been out here cooking. Glorilla been cooking. So, but the songs I personally like the most. So, Give and Give by Conway. I gave that verse of the year. The video was crazy too, but I like that one. Um, Paul Rodriguez, that's the first song off Logic's album. And again, my picks are like for the dudes that be going to record shops and still buying vinyl and super, on some hip hop head stuff. So this is just where my mind was at with this list. Master Ace, Below the Clouds, featuring Blue. I really like that beat. Thank you for me, as far as just like a smash, thank you is that to me. Um, 30 Decembers. I really am gonna get into like whether you like LL Cool J's album or not. I think that's a lane. I think LL and Q-Tip made an Afro-futuristic album. So if you know about Afrofuturism, I think hip hop should create that as a new lane and just ride that. Gangrene, Espionage. Alchemist, I gotta give it to Alchemist. He been going crazy. Like Espionage is I played that song the most this year. Beautiful by Ka, rest in peace. Beautiful song. Um let me skip Dream. Well, let me go to Dreaming. Dreaming and Common and Pete Rock. I think that might be a classic. That might be a classic hip hop song. Now, I will agree with Super. The song I play the most is Fortunate. But Common and Pete Rock Dreaming, that might be a classic. Sanji, Mock Hami, the flow's crazy. And was it Samurai? No. It wasn't
You
Samurai.
sent me nine.
That was
You sent me 9 records, Leroy. So I added Samurai. I thought
no. Oh
you
yeah,
said,
no. The other record I sent you, I sent it before. It was E2. It was E2 by Vince Staples. It's like an
yep.
ode to New Orleans.
My bad. My
Now
bad.
yeah. Nah, that record is fire. Like that, and I could have went Black or Blue with Vince Staples, but I don't know if I'm saying it right. But A2 from his album Dark Times, that's a dope tribute to New Orleans. So those was my 10. You know what I mean?
No doubt. No doubt. Well, good list. Good solid list. Thoughts, Cervon,
Yeah, for sure.
Super Duper. Any thoughts on that?
No,
Yeah,
I really, man. My list is not my actual personal list. So, like, what I'm saying, don't get me
Right.
wrong. Them songs that's on my list. I just, I was making a more of a general list. But I
Right.
didn't need to. I want to run it back to my real personal top 10 songs of the year for real.
Well,
For
run
real.
it back. Run
I
it.
can't complain. Yeah, I had to run it back. I'll run it back when we I might pop in or just put it in the chat or something like that, just so everybody can know.
You run it
So,
back. You run it back next time.
yeah.
Run it back. So
For sure.
Super hit me earlier, and Super said he had an idea for a topic. And Cervon, I want you to start off with this question, and then, no, actually, Super, you start with the question, and Cervon, you go, and then Leroy, you come after it to kind of explain this.
that's right.
But Super, your question
I really want to
was.
hear y'all opinion about it
Your
in
question
the chat.
was.
I mean, this is hey, my bad, Ron. Are you gonna say the question or you want me to say it?
I'll put the question on the screen. I was looking for the graphic. So you go ahead and tee
I
it up,
want you to
Super.
poll this, man. I want to hear what the poll. You should poll this. Can you make a poll? I want to hear what the chat really got to say about this for real, man. Like,
Okay. So yeah, will we see another great hip hop group in our time? Will we see another great hip hop? That's the question. I'm about to put it in the poll. And when was the last great? I think people gonna say Migos, or maybe the City
fact.
Girls, or maybe Griselda, if you can crack Griselda as a group. But what was the last great hip hop group?
The Migos.
Will we see another?
they were. I would say they got to be the last ones. I mean, because I mean, a lot of people gonna probably say Coast Contra or something, but they ain't really. They still underground guys. They ain't made it nowhere yet. Like
Right.
they ain't made it out of So I mean, even Griselda. If you really look at Griselda, are they really a group? They more like guys
Collective.
that work together. Yeah, they more guys. They're a record company. You know what I'm saying? Like they.
No, but I think they a group in the sense of like they family. So I mean, I think that
I
gives
think
hope. Like you got on with your family, that gives a lot of hope to people that they could do this. I mean, you know.
I look at Griselda more like No Limit or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they
Okay.
they just they just they No Limit soldiers. You know what I mean? Like they just Griselda soldiers, but they not really a group guys.
Group.
It's like Griselda, ASAP Mob, like people like them, those are collectives. Like the Migos was an actual group. Later on in their career, they tried to do solo stuff, but we were introduced to them as a group, and that's what they always did was group albums. It wasn't just a collective. Like these guys were the last real hip hop group. Outside of the City Girls, of course, as that duo group, but it was the Migos. They held it down. Their impact, their influence, what they brought to the game, the multiple party records. This was they were the
Yeah.
last group,
Right. The
that we
flow.
got.
The flow. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't see us getting anything else, like that. And you know why? And this is just my take on why I don't feel like we're gonna see another group like that again. I feel like the younger as hip hop goes, the more money hungry and driven they are, and that never works with the group. I think because of the piece of the pot is why you're not going to see that many groups flourish anymore. Because when you really think about why every great group breaks up, is always usually due to money or one of the group
Right.
members having a habit. Is one of the two. I think really that last one was Amigos, and I've never seen a group break up so tragically like the Migos did. And because of that, I feel like that's also going to be a catalyst of why we probably won't see other groups succeed like them or have the impact like them ever again. I'm just going to be totally honest. If it happens, I would love it, but I just don't see it happening again.
I think that. Now go ahead, Leroy. I want to hear your opinion too. I'm gonna hold back.
No, I mean, I really don't know if we're gonna get the great groups because, like, are we gonna get a collective or a group that's dope making music? Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna. Somebody's gonna be dope. Like their crew's gonna be dope. That's gonna happen. But as far as like if we're gonna get greatness again, period, because now we're in the era of do it yourself. The Migos, they kind of last of that era that had like a backing. Now I know their backing, was their manager, etc., but it was a backing. Now it's the era of you got to do it yourself. Like it ain't no machine that's gonna help you. Like so, I don't know if we gonna see great when you got to get out here on your own. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's crazy that I see people saying that Migos wasn't great. Migos was a great hip hop group.
I
That's
mean, if they
undeniable.
wasn't, I mean, they, like I said, whether you like their music or not, they the last guys last group that made any type of real impact. Like, to be
Yeah, that's
honest
what
with
I'm
you.
saying. It's like, hey man.
they talking musically. They talking musically that Migos wasn't their cup of tea. But what were
Hey,
they great
bro, the whole
regardless of
world
it?
fucked with Migos, so I don't care what the part. They had a whole era of
For sure.
consistent hits. Boom, boom,
For
boom,
sure.
boom, boom.
Yeah,
I don't know no other hip hop group that came with it like that consistently.
I think
And
the
there's
only
some
way that we'll see it, the only way we'll see another great group is if it's female. I mean, I don't think that hip hop is going to really promote men like that again. Anyway, I mean, that's the only thing that we really ain't got is a real great female group other than like Salt and Pepper. I mean, if
Right.
y'all want to count the City Girls or whatever, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're great, but I guess that's like kind of what we got to pick from. You know what I'm saying?
their
So you
Right.
got to
impact being
they
known as
somewhere in there
orthogonal.
just by default.
Yeah.
But I think that if we ever do see another great hip hop group, it'll be a female group that come out, and it'll be like something new for the females to get into, and it might take over and be something like something like that. Now, I don't want to talk about the aspects of that, but I think that that's the only way. I don't see it happening any other way as far as as far as the industry and mainstream. I mean, because especially if guys like Coach Contra can't make it into the mainstream and get songs on the radio or become like take that next step to be in this conversation of a great rap group, you know what I'm saying, other than being underground, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think there'll ever be another
Y'all,
mainstream group that'll be great like that.
they gotta make a channel. If you're in a group, make your own YouTube channel and then run your vinyl through the channel. And then if you're say you're super fire, like Coast Contra, they pretty fire when it comes to just straight up rapping. So
Mm-hmm.
they all they got to do is straight up rap, make their own channel and say, hey, we gonna drop vinyl through our channel and just send it out. Now at that point, you're gonna start competing with big heads because people gonna be watching. Coast Contra, I mean, they spit. I would just say Griselda, they give hope. It's just that people are looking at the TV. Oh, I gotta be on TV to be popping. I gotta be on radio to be popping. I think we gotta think other than radio and TV. You know what I mean? Go on, take your team, go to YouTube, go to social media, and run your vinyl, you know what I mean, or your tapes or whatever. You know what I mean?
Let me get to the super chat real quick, and I want to chime in on this topic real quick. I want to cook a little bit about why I think there may not be another hip hop group. We will never see one again. Deuce Falco with the super chat says no poll needed. Ron wins. Man, appreciate that, Deuce. We appreciate we appreciate you the love for the list, man. I mean that's one of the first poll I won in a long time, man. I appreciate it. But let me jump on screen real quick because I wanna look at the audience and talk to the audience while I bring this up. I don't think there'll never be a hip hop group again because we live in a different time. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about all the groups that we had back in the day. Diggable Planets, the Fugees, the Wu-Tang, Tribe Called Quest, Brand Nubian, Run DMC,
Right.
Beastie Boys, NWA, Public Enemy. This is a time before the internet, time before Google, time before phones and Instagram and Facebook. I think we live in an individualized culture now. So now with the proliferation of technology, it's easy. If I want to shine, I take a selfie. You know what I'm saying? We ain't, we can touch people differently in our own echo chambers and our own silos, as opposed to clicking up with a group. So I can make a song from my MacBook or I can make a song from my phone. I don't need to scrounge up $100 or $50 to go to homie studio down the street and make a record together. So I think the mindset of the artist has changed. And I think that's why you don't see any great. When's the last great American rock band we've had? Or maybe I'm out of the loop. Or great, they got K-pop bands now from Korea. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
manufactured. So these organic groups that we had back in the day, I don't think you're going to see. I think you're going to see it in the form of podcasts. You're going to see it in the form of maybe filmmaking or something more collaborative in that end. But from a music perspective, to Super's point, I think you might see a female group because it might be marketable because you can get 3 girls together and it'll be dope. They look good and they can spit. But I don't think kids don't even go outside and play together no more. So expecting them to make an album, they're just gonna be in front of their devices. So I think the technology has killed the ability for groups to make it. So it's sad, but I don't
I
think
mean,
we'll ever
you
see
got to bet
another
on
group.
yourself. If you could imagine Amigos before they blew up, the Amigos probably got laughed at. I'm just talking about in their own section in their neighborhood when nobody knew them but just a few guys. They probably was laughing at them like, "This is what y'all gonna do?" Like, and I'm not saying they was whack, but I'm just saying if you picture the Migos way back in the day, they used to dress in the same outfit. I'm talking about before they got famous. Their flow was completely different. They going through like routines while they rapping. People was probably laughing at them, but they had enough sense to just bet on themselves. Like people gonna have to you gotta bet on yourself, and that's what's gonna push it. If you kind of go into it not really sure, it's not really gonna go. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
you know what I
Hey,
mean?
shout out to Ray Sherman too, man. We forget about them.
yeah,
What's the ear drummers or whatever? They shit
yeah,
was
that was
fire
dope.
too. I actually like their music a little bit more than the Migos for
They
real.
don't. They
Yeah,
fire low key. They fire
yeah, they was
low key.
fire,
They
man. They
fire.
shit was fire, man.
Migos
You
have
go
some.
back and listen to it, and you play that shit right now. That shit sound good, man. You can't
I
hate,
like
They
man.
their
fire.
That shit
joints
sound.
too, but to me, the Migos just had more of a cultural impact to me, man. I just felt like
Yeah.
I was in the club a lot during the Migos. There wasn't like there's always a new slap coming from them, no matter
Yeah.
what. all the way even leading up to them breaking up, they was having slaps, so they were way better together than they were being individual acts. I mean, I did like what's the name's last album, Offset. I feel like that was a solid solo album. Production wise, I feel like it was A&R and put together very well, but the Migos is the last great hip hop group I think you're gonna get, and I think the biggest thing for me is just the money. I really feel like it's like that. Think about Super. You said that it may be a female group, which that sounds like the idea when you look at like female rap right now. But a lot of artists don't even want to sign one female artist because how much money you have to put into that artist, from glam to styling to marketing. Like that's different. Now you have to do that for another
It's
woman.
not
Like
affordable. It's
it's not.
impossible.
And
It's
then
impossible.
these female rappers are not selling like that, so I don't think they're getting money more in their return than that. And then I feel like another thing that's hurting the game for female rappers is a lot of them are kind of using it as a stepping stone, and so you don't see the longevity within their careers. Like they'll get popping and then they'll go and get those endorsements and do other things. It takes them outside of music to, when is the last time have you, we get the same female artist that's going to drop. It's going to be Glorilla, it's going to be Meg, and it's going to be Sexy Red.
Oh, wait, Cervon, you
But
forgot.
that-
Hey, wait,
Hey.
super. How you mention a female list, Cervon, and I mentioned the best one? You didn't say Lotto, man. But go ahead.
We gotta
Yeah.
stop. We gotta stop with the Lotto
Here's
thing, bro.
the thing, though. And Ron, I know you love
Okay.
Lotto, but I don't think Lotto
gotta
is
stop.
what, like, I don't think she's the hottest.
Beautiful young lady, but we gotta
Yeah,
stop.
I don't think she's the hottest of this era, man. But like, yeah, I just really feel like it's the money, man. When you're really talking about groups, like I said, most groups don't last because of the money. That's why I think is the biggest reason why we're probably not going to get a hip hop group again is just because the slices of the pie. And I know a lot of people like to talk about Griselda, but to me, Slaughterhouse is better than Griselda. I'm just gonna be totally honest. I feel like them as a collective group was better than Griselda. I just felt like they were victims of Eminem having too much involvement in their albums because their mixtapes and their albums sound nothing alike. I was disappointed in the Slaughterhouse albums, but the mixtapes.
I mean, the cost though. I mean, when we talk about the
what,
money,
what, I,
so
I
Slaughterhouse,
kinda,
that's four guys. You know what I mean?
I'm confused
Go ahead,
on what you mean. When you, like, I'm confused on what you mean. Why when you say that Slaughterhouse is better than Griselda? How? Like, what you like?
I feel
what
like
you mean? Like,
I feel like they're better. I feel like they're better rappers than Griselda.
Lyrically, yeah, lyrically.
I feel like lyrically they're better rappers.
I don't know, man. I think
they're better.
I think maybe
I think the monster was too.
I think maybe in like
big.
I don't know. I can't even say in the freestyle battle. I don't know, man. I think that Benny and Conway. I mean, depending on what you're looking at as Griselda. I mean, Benny, Conway,
West
Bodie,
Side.
Stove God. Like, I think they better song makers than all of those dudes over there. Like
No,
the
monster was too big because you got Eminem as the head, and then you have Joe, Royce, Crooked, and Jewel. That monster's too big, so they're trying to funnel that through the mainstream. So I think the cost of making these big acts, people don't know. They're thinking, oh, it costs like $1 million. So they're thinking, I'll run a play and run up $1 million or something. But the cost of really moving these artists and this music is super crazy. So no, we're not going to see that no more because it's just not around like that no more. But we got to think of other ways. That's what I'm saying. Like Griselda thought of another way. That's what makes them so genius. You know what I mean?
Siobhan, are you saying as a group or just individual artists?
Well, as individual
like,
artists, I think they even get busier. Like one thing about Slaughterhouse to me, I feel like these were two guys that were. I mean, these are four guys that are all put together greatly. Like these are lyrical monsters. I don't think King Crooked get a lot of credit for how dope he is lyrically. Same with Joel Ortiz. We know what Royce does. We know what Joe Budden does. But I feel like if you were to match these two groups up, I feel like Slaughterhouse is the better group out of all four. I feel like they know their pockets very well. I just feel like, again, they were victim to Eminem. They got, you know
I
what's the thing?
disagree with this, man. I
I feel like everything that M did wrong with Slaughterhouse is what kind of the grittiness of what Griselda got later on. You know, I felt like he wasn't gonna make that same mistake twice. That's what I feel like. That's what that was.
No,
They were
he did the best he did the best he could do with what he could do. I mean, there's no sure win. Like, and when you got four guys like that, I mean, it's not guaranteed that what they're gonna work. They tried. They had CeeLo on a hook. They tried to go the pop route, and I could see that because people would be like, "Well, that
M
doesn't
had
make
too much
sense."
involvement.
Well,
M had too much
yeah,
involvement. If you
the
listen
the,
to
the
the
reversal
Slaughterhouse album,
was
the production is
get the
terrible.
album. If y'all got,
When you
if
listen
people were
to the
able to
production is
get the
terrible.
album, they would have heard bars. But since the underground got an album from them, but the mainstream never got an album from Slaughterhouse. So
I
the
mean,
mainstream
respect,
don't know that
respect,
that they got bars.
man. Respect to both groups. But I mean, I can't say that individually. I think that Joe Buttons is a better artist than Benny the Butcher, or even like Crooked is a better artist than Conway. I can't. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, that's why I was saying, like, as a group,
Man,
as far as
you
group
like,
work and group
and I
projects.
shouldn't
But
do this. I shouldn't do this. But
I mean, Crooked is
y'all
nice.
love
Crooked is
y'all
nice,
love
man.
Tupac. Y'all love Tupac. Go
Oh,
back
don't
to
do
some of
this,
them
man.
Go back to some of them Joe Button records. I'm not saying this is equivalent, but I'm saying if you're liking somebody that raps from a deep, he's telling you something deep. Go back to them old Joe Button records and
I mean,
See,
like
Joe
like
bro,
is
like
nice, but like I said, I don't think that he makes the songs, or he even got like, he don't got no tenor talk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Like I said, I respect to Joe. It ain't to shit on them, but I don't
yeah.
think that they, even just individually, I don't think that Joel Ortiz is better than Bodie James. Like, really, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe in a cipher, or like spitting,
But
just spitting
that's
some
what he
shit
means.
in the booth, maybe, but. Okay,
That's what he
okay,
means.
that's what I was
yeah,
saying though, or
I
just
just
like
feel like
artist wise, or like song making wise. I don't think so though. But that's
I feel like
that's our opinion. Like, I ain't arguing with that.
My cousin used to love Joe Button, and I'd be like, bro, like Joe Button is cool. He's not whack, but he's cool. My cousin was like, nah, Joe Button is one of them ones. I started to listen to more Joe Button's music, and bro, like he really got something to say. I mean, it's kind of tangled up in all his emotions, but he's really good at what he does, though. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, I
that's
really, when you go back into a lot of the underground, like Slaughterhouse stuff and a lot of the mixtape stuff, not like I said, the album, I feel like Eminem meddled in that a little bit with the production and the type of songs. Like that, the song was like Frat House or something, like it was something similar to that. When I Hammer Dance, even though Hammer Dance wasn't that bad, but I'm listening, that's not them. You know what I'm saying? Like I was introduced to Slaughterhouse when they had microphone, when stuff like that, and like their
yeah,
lyrical ability to me is way more polished than Griselda. I feel like their pockets was way better
we
than me.
yeah. We hip hop
I
gotta
mean,
go mainstream. But I
like I
know
said,
we
I don't
like the
know, man.
underground, but we gotta go mainstream.
I mean,
I
that's
mean,
it's neither here nor there. It's just our opinions, man. But I think that
it's
Griselda
no
and
right or wrong.
that team, they found their niche, and they found what they really want to do. I think they more like goal orientated than they was. I think they just make better projects. Like, regardless, I understand what you're saying. Like, they might be nicer lyrically and all of that other stuff, but song making wise and just like making projects, I can't say that Slaughterhouse is better than Griselda, man.
No,
I can't. Like,
M wanted to see his boys. M wanted to see his boys pop in the mainstream. I can't be mad at him for that. He loved them. Like he loved them guys. He wanted them to blow up. So he gassed that. And sometimes it's no right or wrong, but there's no automatic thing that's gonna make you just blow up. It's no science like that. Just could just make it happen. But M loved them dudes. That's what it was. You saw. You know what I mean? He really wanted them guys to go. And it
So
just
so
didn't
I
happen.
feel like when you match all four of them up individually too towards Griselda, I think they individually kind of get busy as well. Like I'm just being honest. I really feel
we
like
might need to do a rumble on that. We'll play the you know what I'm saying, get a rumble, mash them up, but it's gonna go verse for verse, song for song. But that'll be an interesting kind of discussion. But I want to just close this loop out before we close the show, because I got two more topics. I created some dope graphics. I want to use these graphics. I don't want to waste them. It took me about 2 hours to do these joints, so I want to get through these topics real quick. But I don't think there's gonna be another group. Leroy, what say you? It's gonna be another great group?
I don't know. I'm hoping yes.
Cervon,
I'm hoping.
another great group coming, or is Migos the last run?
I'm hoping so. But with how money is going, and we seeing that there's really no money in music no more. I don't really think that that's gonna happen. I think if it is, it's gonna be another, like one of those grassroots up and coming guys that just kind of making noise. And they rise up and they might break a hit, but I just don't see it being like a bigger group and an impact like the Migos and them being this big act. I don't really see that happening in the future. If it does, cool. I love when groups are here and they're winning, but I just don't see it with how the money is and how the industry is now and how the mainstream record label is now starting to be kind of shrink. You're not starting to see those mainstream labels no more. And those were the ones that had the money to fund those groups. So that's, like I said, for me, my stuff is based off the business and the music and how that stuff goes. So I don't think that we're going to see it. But if we do, it's great. It's always good for hip hop.
No doubt. Super. Your topic, you got the last word.
I think that we will. Maybe it's possible, but I agree with you, Cervon, that it's gonna have to happen organically. And like I said, I think that if it does happen for them to be big, I think they're gonna have to be female, and they're gonna come out of one of these unexpected areas. Like it's gonna be like a female group out of Memphis, a female group out of Detroit, like Louisiana, somewhere like some of these kind of slightly overlooked but talented places where it's a lot of music to be inspired by. And I think that eventually, it will be. I think it will be. It will be a female great group that will probably pass up everybody else on the list.
Before we get to the next topic, I think I just got inspired by that. I think we should put I want to sign them to According to Hip Hop. I think we should cover a super group. We should get JT from the City Girls, Ice Spice, and then Lotto as a group. I think that'll be crazy. Crazy.
All right. You make the budget. You got that budget.
We gotta get the super chats up. Once you get the super chats up, we can pay for a song or two or a night out, whatever the case may be. But let's get to these next topics real quick. Fellas, did y'all listen to the Fat Joe album, The World Changed on Me? And if you did, what were your thoughts?
I watched his interviews everywhere, but I have not listened to the album, unfortunately, man.
Okay.
My thoughts is Joe. Joe, you said you was gonna keep it gangster. Now, what happens with Joe is you've had some mega hits. So I think, Joe, I don't know. It sounds like you're chasing a mega hit. And that's cool because we know what a mega hit does for people's lives. I'm not mad, but nah, Joe. Like I think, and the album was half and half. Nah, no, and I because I actually like Fat Joe's music. Like seriously, like Tales from the Dark Side. I like that series. Don Cartagena I think is classic. The Elephant in the Room I think is a dope album. I actually do like Fat Joe's music because he says his lines with a certain conviction. I believe him when he's rapping. I believe he is who he says he is. So it's like, but I think the formula in which you're using to chase mega hits, it's a great formula, but I just don't think there's a lean back two in the cards. You know what I mean? And or all the way up in the cards. And it's not your fault. I think the game has flattened out to where it's harder to deliver those. But I thought the album was half good. The song with Chris Rock on the intro, Us, 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 Us. I'm rocking with that. The first song with Dre on the hook, not Dr. Dre, but Cool and Dre. Fire. I'm riding down the block. Something, something. Fire. The song with the fresh scratch. Something fresh. Well, I put it in the whatever fresh. That's fire. So you do know what you're doing, but the other like the love songs, and I realize you're going through your issue right now, but the hit making, I see you, Joe, but that is just not your fault. But the game's just not there to receive a hit record in the same way. TV is gone, radio's almost gone. You see what I'm saying? So just go back to what you do best, because when you on that Tales from the Dark Side, well, we getting some real Fat Joe from there. Call Primo, Nas over there. Go see what they doing. You know what I'm saying? I thought the album was cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't have an opinion on the album, but one thing I could say about Joe is like Joe, he never really gave me those albums. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried to listen to what was it, Plateau Ploma, when that dropped, him and Remy. The production was there, but I didn't like that project. You know, I did like Money Showers. That was a good record. But like I didn't like the album. I really haven't heard like a real dope Joe album since what, Jealous One's Envy? You know, the original one, you know, like out of just being honest with you. So, you know, I don't know. Joe's albums be a hit or miss with me.
Me, myself, and I. That is a good album. You know what I mean?
Hey, this reminds me when we first got introduced to Ron. It's like, I know this Ron homeboy right here, man. I ain't gonna freak it up, man. I know this your guy right here, man. But come on, man. We don't want to hear these love songs from Fat Joe right now. This dude's 60 years old or whatever, going through a divorce or whatever the hell he's going on. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this shit from Joe. All these songs and all this singing and shit. That shit was whack, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like I got a shit on this album. Like it's whack as hell. Like for real, it's too much singing on it.
Like I haven't heard it. I hate trying to make like mainstream records because it's too obvious.
I jumped the gun.
Fat Joe is heartbroken. Fat Joe missed his kids or something.
I jumped the gun. I was skimming through the album. I sent y'all a text. I jumped the gun. So I retract that text message I sent to you on Saturday. I don't even want to speak to it. I retract.
You ain't got to retract it.
It's
the lean back effect. It's the lean. He hit with lean back, and he ain't never been the same. Once he saw that money come in, he was like, "I'm chasing lean back forever."
I retracted.
I mean, it's too many songs. Like Fat Joe acting like he still got Ashanti or something to do songs with. Like these chicks, like all this singing on this album and like all this Playboy talking. Like I said, he just like. I mean, you could tell he, like I said, I didn't know, but when I came away from this album, I was thinking like, damn, Fat Joe going through a divorce. That's the only thing I could think of. Like I got done her like all this singing, and he kind of in love, or he want to like. It's just I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I listened to the album fairly. I listened to it through and through. Don't nothing stick out. I can't even remember a song like for real at all off of it. And like, I was getting at you a little bit in the chat, Ron. Like you was talking about this album is fire, but you was going ham on Snoop now. Like Snoop them album way.
Nah. I said I retracted that statement, Snoop. I retracted that statement. I'm gonna say I retract that fully. I was probably drinking some Hennessy, and I probably sent it to a little too quick. But he got about 4 or 5 songs on the album. Let's be for real.
Yeah, it ain't too bad. He got about 4 or 5 tracks. It ain't,
so when he gets into his
mid in the bad grade. It's mid in the bad way. Like it's not. I want this. I won't even see this. Don't deserve mid. Like saying this is mid is like being a little bit good. You know what I mean? Like this is what we got to use mid fairly. This is the low mid.
See the album.
Well, you know,
the album was called "The World Changed."
His brother died.
Yeah, his brother died, and his homie Raul died, and he might be going through something with his wife. But the album's called "The World Changed on Me," and I think he's talking about how the world, literally and figuratively, changed. How we live in a different world where people are more politically correct, and you gotta say certain things. Right. So a lot of people have kind of touched on this. Like Eminem touched on it on his album. Ice Cube touched on it on his album. So I kind of get the theme of the album. That he had a lot of loss personally with the death of loved ones. We got about 4 joints on. You got the song with Babyface, "I Got You" was cool. The Bad Man song, you know what I'm saying, was cool. Us song with Chris Rock. I really don't agree with Chris Rock to say that he said hip hop is the first art form created by free black men. I disagree with that. We can talk about that on another show.
You might be right.
They don't love you. Right. They love you. The world will change. We got about 4 or 5, but when you start getting to that 2005 bag with Tony Sunshine and Khaled and trying to make them pop records with Dre, that's what the album kind of get like. Minnie Berkey.
You gotta do that,
like Minnie Berkey. What's the lyric? I'm gonna read the lyrics to Minnie Berkey real quick. When he did Minnie Berkey, I said, "Yo, This is wild. Hold on.
Sounding like a
That
sugar
was too.
daddy
That
on
was
the
too
track.
far.
Mini
That
break.
was
What's the
too
lyrics?
far.
Okay, he said, got Bottega, Taylor made the fit. No, wait. He said she get freaky. She, you
Right,
want
right,
to,
right.
she trying,
Free,
he said back to
right.
back BBLs, please don't wait. He said rock star lifestyle
Uh,
might not
I don't
make
even,
it. Back to back BBLs, please don't waste it. Now she out in Vegas on stage going dumb, skeet. Yeah, she 101. Woo!
I like
Shorty,
Joe though. I like Joe.
bruh,
It's just
them hit records will change your life. It's
yeah,
them
I
hit
like
records will
Joe.
change your life. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like Joe. Just his albums, man. You could obviously tell when Joe's trying to chase hits. Like even when he speaks about his albums, usually in interviews, it's always like he's trying to come with a big one. He wants to, like how Leroy is saying, he wants to land another, lean back. And I don't, you know, I like Joe as a personality. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care for
Man,
any
Lean
I
on
like
that.
Fat Joe. I like Fat Joe,
That's
not
Fat Joe.
Ozempic Joe, not
yeah.
Weight Watchers Joe, not vegan Joe. I like Fat Joe. So like this ain't Fat Joe at all. And like I said, even if like I said, when I'm not looking for Don Cartagino, I'm not looking for Jealous One's Envy. I'm not looking for that. I'm not even looking for the man to give me a hit, but I just wasn't looking for him to like make a Drake style act. Like he was trying to be Drake on this album or something. I felt like he was draking it.
he was
Not
drinking.
singing, but just like song subject wise, it was almost on some Drake ass shit to me.
I found the bar. I found the bar I was talking about. He says, "You want that Croc Berkey, a young Nicole Murphy, and a Nicole Curvy. They say you fucky. That roly chunky. Take a chance, do the
Can't you hear
dance.
Drake saying that shit?
He said, take a chance, do the dance, Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, he lost me on that one, Joe. Damn, Humpty Dumpty. Woo.
They done did. But I mean,
And
he
you the
that
one who told us this album was hot.
Nah, see, I told you I was on that hen dog, and I was on that hen. I was on that hen. I sent that shit, man. I was tripping. You know what I'm saying? The kids were screaming in the back. I couldn't really hear the album because the kids was wilding. You know what I mean? So I retracted.
I ain't gonna front on Joe though. I'm not gonna front on Joe. I'm gonna give it a fair listen. I just wasn't checking for it, man. Like, cause I haven't been impressed with like a lot of Joe's last album efforts. So it's like he'll have some joints. Like he'll have one or two or something like that. I'll be like, I like these records, but as an album, man, like I said, I haven't got a good Joe album in a long
Hey,
time.
I like Joe so much, or at least I used to like Joe so much that I almost feel disrespectful for even reviewing his album and shit. Like it's just that bad. Like it almost don't even deserve to be reviewed. Like for real.
And see, and that's why I don't. That's why I stay away from. That's why I don't like top tens. That's why I don't really like doing reviews and stuff because it comes off as me disrespecting people that I
and
love, like
no, it's just
artists
real.
that I
I
love,
mean, Fat
whatever they
Joe to
do.
me, Fat Joe to me is like Raekwon and Ghost. There is a spark that's still there. It's just making it work. But I mean, there is a spark that still could work, but you got to go left. You're trying to go what's expected. Go left and just see what happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
They
mean, I
roasted
I
just
his.
mean the last album that made me feel a little disrespectful reviewing it was the Ghostface Killer album. Like I kind of felt a little disrespectful. Like
oh
reviewing the
man,
album. It made me feel bad to have to keep it real and like kick the album back in. But yeah, this one I got to drop kick Joe off the world's
did y'all
off the
like?
World
Did y'all
Trade
like
Center with this
Platopluma?
one.
Did y'all like Platopluma? Him and Remy?
It was the same thing,
It
and
was
it's not
cool.
a bad album, but you're chasing that hit, and I understand. But you chasing. Sometimes you just gotta just chill, just make good music, and don't
I mean,
chase
that
it. Let it
Moonshowers
just
joint
come.
that they did was dope.
That's an interesting point, Leroy. Very interesting point that you said. Don't chase
I don't think they
hits.
was trying to chase a hit with that song. It just seemed like it was an
No,
album
but
song. It didn't seem like it was one of them songs that
anybody
they was trying to get in the club or nothing.
Oh,
anybody in their right mind, really, you gonna want to chase a hit. Now I realize like some people don't do that, like Rock Marcy don't do that. But if y'all saw the money that comes after you make a hit record, anybody in their right mind wants that. So when people say, "Oh, this person doesn't want a hit," anybody wants that, bro. Like
no,
Jay,
Joe
I mean,
tell
not
you.
yeah,
Joe
Fat
says he
Joe.
wants it.
Yeah, anybody wants a better circumstance for their life, their financial life. So of course they're gonna chase the hit. But I'm just saying now I'm expecting it from Joe which I think if you just rap, Joe, because you got Cool and Dre. So in that Cool and Dre-ness, they're gonna have hit records somewhere supplying you somewhere. So just let it come, like let it come on its own, because they gonna supply you. Rock Marcy, I love Rock Marcy. He is a pioneer in that drumless space of and of course I love Alchemist and there's and Rock Marcy's style, that kind of like changing up the syllables where you may rap two syllables at the end and then rhyme that same two syllables with four syllable words. I know that's micro listening, but that draws a listener into what Rock Marcy be saying. I'm a pool shark. You can't do what I can't learn my game even at Juilliard. Like just how he's wording it sounds crazy. But I think that you may have hit a ceiling. Maybe I'm wording it wrong, but I kind of expected what I heard. Alchemist killed it, but it's like I listened to that right after I listened to Snoop Dogg and Dre. So my ears were on something totally different. But respect to Rock Marcy. I can't knock his hustle because he's appealing to his fan base, which makes perfect sense. So I can't say that's the wrong route. You appeal to your fans. But I thought the album was cool. The last end of it, the last like three songs, really dope songs. The beginning, it was cool. I like what you're saying. Mystery God was dope, but I hope you didn't hit a ceiling, Rock Mars. And maybe I'm saying that wrong. I could be tripping. But you fed your fan base, but you didn't expand any. And you don't have to, but my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Leroy. I mean, I think I think the album is like it's not whack, or it's not like it's what you expect from Rock Marcy at this point right now. And I think that
Right.
you might be right in saying that he might have hit his plateau. He might be as good as he gonna get. It might not be more to it than what it is. Um,
Right.
Another artist that I think of kind of like this is like Currency too. You know what I mean? Like he can give his fan bases what they want, and yeah, I like the album. I don't think that it's whack. I like a lot of songs, but it's not like I'm not gonna get up here and say that this. I think this is album of the year. It's not. I don't think it's as good as his last project. I think it's fire still. Chopsticks is fire. Like you said, um, the other song slipped my
Oh,
mind right now. God, you know what I'm saying. But anyway,
he
the
did his
rest,
thing.
the whole album up and down. Like if I had, yeah, if I had the playlist, I can talk about the songs a little bit individually better. But I mean, for as far as like what he did for himself as an individual artist, I think he fed his fan base, and like I said, similar to a Currency, maybe even like a Larry June, a Jay Worthy, guys that got like that type of fan base, or even even a Bodie
Yeah.
James at this point. You know what I'm saying? Bodie James is just like it's like you either hate him or love him, and like I don't think that Bodie's gonna be getting any better. I think that he might be making better songs, and it's possible that he can make something better, a better song than he has in the past. But as an artist, I don't think that they really have nowhere to go at this time. I think they down to hit cult status, and it's like either you like them or you don't. And as as far as growth, I don't
Yeah.
think there's not another level for them to take at this point. So, I think the album is nice, but I can't
Yeah.
overreact.
You got to switch it up. Like LL Cool J, he just switched it up and went totally left with the force. Sometimes you just got to switch it up and see what happened. Like change the sound, see what happened, because you're not gonna make nothing whack. Whatever you make is gonna be dope in some capacity. So just switch it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Rock Marciano. I like Marciology was a way doper project in my opinion. I think he might be in a category of MCs that make good, solid projects and not to really hit their
Right.
ceiling, but are not really innovative. Like before on the pod, I said that, Benny the Butcher doesn't really make bad albums, but they starting to sound the same. Lloyd Banks, they don't make bad albums. They just start to sound the same. It's not like a stretch musically. You know what you're going to get with them records. When you put
Hmm.
them on, you can vibe to them,
Right.
but it's not going to stretch you musically or sonically. It's just going to give you they're professional MCs. You know what I'm saying? They give you professional dopeness. So yeah. Before we get out of here, though, I want to talk about this J. Cole concert. He was at Madison
Hey,
Square Garden.
I actually gotta hit it real quick. So I'll let y'all in a minute,
Oh
man.
man, happy birthday, brother! Happy birthday, man!
Yeah,
And
for sure, fam. For sure,
happy
for
born day.
sure.
We appreciate you, man. And we'll chop it
I
up later.
appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, for
Be
sure, for
safe.
For
sure. I'll
sure.
tap in. I'll holler
Birthday,
at y'all
bro.
in the chat, man. Let me know where y'all disagree with me at. I'll let you know we can chop it up. So salute y'all. I'll holler at y'all.
Happy birthday, brother!
Oh, happy birthday, my guy.
All right, so J.Cole did his Madison Square Garden show. 20,000 people in the building. He sold some tickets for $1 to commemorate, the 10-year anniversary of Forest Hills Drive. It came out in 2014. I heard he got deep in his catalog on the joint. He did a lot of his old records like Two Face, Grown Simba, Who Dat, Lights Please, performed some of those mixtapes cuts. He kind of teased that some new music will be coming at the last Dreamville Festival. I predicted probably incorrectly that his album would come out before the end of the year, but it does seem like he's ramping up based upon his rollout with the audio series and the release of the mixtapes. It doesn't seem like the battle kind of phased him, or him tapping out of the battle kind of phased, which I predicted. I didn't think his career would be over. He had Madison Square Garden rocking. I don't know if y'all went to the show, hit us in the chat. Let us know if you went to the show and what you felt about it. But everything I read, it sounded like, it is what
The
it
battle
is.
wasn't gonna phase him, man. When you have a built-in fan base, they gonna rock with you regardless. Like they don't care,
It's
you know.
not just that, Leroy. I think it's the fact that J. Cole is probably like one of the most relatable artists ever. And once you become that, it's hard to get people to just you think him just
Right.
apologizing will make fans not know. It makes you casual fans want to step away. His fans looking at him being as relatable as they do, all that did was solidify things that they love about the guy. So I didn't even think
Right.
that was gonna, like hurt him like that. I know a lot of people don't like it. He apologized. I personally kind of didn't like it either, but I knew he wasn't finished, man. I knew he wasn't finished when Mike Delete Later was still getting love. So yeah, and that was
He was
actually a solid
rapping.
project too. He was rapping. So
He was rapping.
I knew Cole was gonna be okay. Um, I didn't have no doubt about that. And I just want to hear what the next project is going to look like. That's the thing. I didn't want Cole to speak on that shit anymore. Either you're going to rap about it
Right.
or you're going to let it go, whatever. Just do your music. But the over explaining is what I didn't like. But I said this with Mike when he said he was going to come out with the podcast and everything. I said that was a great move by Cole because it kind of makes people love him again. You know what I'm saying? It makes people fall in love with what they love from him as an artist all over again. I think he's doing everything right. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Dreamville next year too. Um, he
I would
doesn't.
say, yeah, go out with a bang. If you're retiring, which I can't blame you for doing, you've been rapping like 15 years. You got every right to sit down. But go out with a bang. You got your own podcast or whatever. Put the album out like on the show, create the stage like as if you back in your dorm room and take them back to that dorm room experience where you know you the best, but nobody else in the world knows. You know what I mean? And just perform from that angle, but drop the album specifically for those that rock with you through your site. Just go out with a bang because what to do something that you've already done 10 times as far as releasing music in a certain format, a certain way with the traditional single, with the traditional video and radio push, whatever. Just do something different because you already good. Nothing is going to change your lifestyle wherever way it goes. So just do something different and go out with a bang so you leave a another lane for the other J. Cole. Maybe Corday is gonna follow behind what you're doing. Maybe or whoever, there'll be other people that will follow behind what you're doing. So but I just say switch it up because you had the courage to get the podcast and go your own route doing that. So do something different, J. Cole. But really rap though. And you have been saying that you're the illest at this or the best at this. You know, show these people that. You know what I mean? Some people believe you, some people don't believe you. But show them that you are who you say you are. And you know what I mean? And go out like that. Now that's a hell of a story, my brother. You won me over. I hated your music. I hated your music, bro. Like I did not like your music. I'm gonna keep it a buck, and I'm sure you already know that. But you won me over. The last album, great. The album before that, the off season, great. The feature run you've been on, you won me over to where I had to say, okay, the issue is me. Okay, like I'm tripping because this man is
Even,
spitting. So
even
I'm not
Dreamville
easy to
albums
win
was
over.
good.
You know what I mean?
The Dreamville compilations was good. Those
Yeah.
don't get talked
So
about enough.
Oh yeah.
go for it. I believe in you. I believe in you, bro. Go for it. Show these people, because that's what Kendrick out here acting like he King Kong out here. So you got that in you as well. Show these people, man. We,
No
you
doubt.
know.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it, man. We're gonna check out Dreamville. I think Cervon and I will be in the building. We will be in North Carolina, North Kakalaki, to take it in, the last one. And maybe Leroy, you may come out too, man. We gotta see, we get these super chats up, man. We get you out there as well. You know what I'm saying? But before we go,
Hey, man.
I'm gonna save this topic for the weekend because I don't want to rush it. But I was thinking about what can we get, holiday gift guide from a hip hop perspective, right? What can you get the hip hop fan? But to that point, go to our YouTube page and there's some merchandise. You want to go get a shirt, you want to get a hat, you can buy things from According to Hip Hop. It may get there in time. You can put under the tree, might make a nice stocking stuffer. And we got some exclusive designs that we're gonna be rolling out in the coming weeks as well. Mugs, exclusive shirts, tees, merch. We'll have that. But go to YouTube. You can order directly from there. You might get it in time for the holidays. But just, I
Yep.
think I think books are good gifts. 50th Law of Power. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of hip hop Common wrote a few books. A lot of MCs wrote some books. I know Jay's got a couple books out.
Yeah.
T-shirts always dope. Shit. I told my wife I want a Meta Quest, man. I told her not to get me the Vision Pro, but I might do, I wear glasses all the time. I might do the show in like a headset one day, you know what I mean? And the VR AR joint, you know what I'm saying? So there's some gifts you can get because there's some concerts. They got concerts coming to the AR VR space. So there's some dope gifts you can get to hip hop. Headphones are always good. Yeah. So we'll talk about that over the weekend on the weekend rhyme. But as you can see, the ladies want gifts. As you can see on the graphic, they want gifts. So think of some ideas, fellas.
Who these ladies here? They don't need my gift. I don't. They good. They need to get me a gift. You know what I mean? Nah, man. Just be cool. Be a cool human being. That's the best. You know what I mean? Or get your lady friend. Get them something nice. Now, Lotto and Mary J. Blige. I think they good. If you get them I don't think giving them a gift card is really going to wow them. But hey, it's up to you.
So like Ron's not lying with the books though. I mean, because one year I got the Jay-Z the Made in America book, the Michael Eric Dyson joint, and that was great. That was a great, it kind of broke down his career within lyrics and all that stuff. You actually using lines and everything. It was real decoded. It was dope. But I seen this. I seen this is starting to become a thing. There's a lot of hip hop pictures. If you just want to keep your stuff cheap, you know what I'm saying? If you go into any of your, I don't know how y'all Rosses hit in y'all cities or y'all states, but here my Ross is on fire with hip hop stuff. So if you see my hip hop pictures on here, 9 times out of 10 I got a lot of these out of Ross. I got one of the dopest ones that I still haven't got to hang up because I'm trying to figure out how am I gonna make room from it. I want to share this with you guys and let you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is a classic.
Holiday gift.
Yeah,
Don't say we didn't give y'all a game from According to Hip Hop. Oh wow.
Oh, fire.
You got that from Ross?
Fire.
From Ross, bro.
Damn, I
Wait
didn't
a
know.
minute.
Yeah,
From
you put me up
Ross?
on game.
So, yeah, from Ross. Got the record, all that in there. So what I'm saying is that's stuff that I just get from my own crib. So
Wow.
yeah, man. Like
I
Ross
didn't
is
know,
one of
man.
my
I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna go in there and be like, "What's up?" My man say y'all got the pictures, man. Y'all got to
yeah,
connect with the pictures. What's up? Because I got to get more of these. You see, I got one. I got a spot, a poster. It's a canvas, but I need to get more and just put them up everywhere. You know what I mean?
yeah, man. It's like they got some jewels in there, man. I got like all my hip hop pictures and stuff is out of Ross. So that's a cool one. I was in Sam's Club before I got sick. and they have like this boom box, but it's like, it looks like an old school type boom box, but it's like, it's light, but it's like Bluetooth, and like you could use it like any other speaker, but it's just a style of it looks like old school boom boxes. Seen that in Ross for like probably $30-$40. Like, it's some dope shit.
All right.
No, yeah, we need to put
No,
we're gonna compile a little list, and we're gonna take Cervon's suggestions. I'm gonna see if I can find like the links. We'll put it in the description on the Weekend Rhyme show. But yeah, fellas, man, we appreciate you guys tapping in with us, man. As always, Cervon, I'm glad you're back on the man. You feeling good? Leroy Green, we appreciate you as well as always, man. I hate that it takes Cervon and Super to say the same exact thing I said for you to get it, but I'm glad you finally came around and got it. Shout out to Super Duper. Happy birthday, man. And make sure you hit like and subscribe. We talk about the Dreamville Festival. If we get to 100,000 subscribers, we will get to unlock the opportunity to have our own Accord Hip Hop Festival in Atlanta, probably. So let's make sure you hit like and subscribe. Comment. The comments are up on the last episode, so make sure you make sure you comment, and make sure if you want to get something for the holidays, you want to rock this Accord Hip Hop, get it on our YouTube store, and it may be there before the holidays, man. But we appreciate you guys. As always, I'm Ron and Cervon, Leroy Green. Agree to disagree.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
All right,
Peace, y'all. See y'all this weekend.